Ironblood Dwarves, Episode 3. I don't have a title for this episode yet because I don't really know what the players are going to do. I'll give it to you afterward. We are down Ed today. He was feeling pretty under the weather, even though the man is a machine. People that work in restaurants and kitchens are just bred from another stock. His Gen Con experience, as far as I can tell, did not involve sleeping. It involved working at an incredibly fast-paced restaurant, waking up, drinking with us in Indy, and then going back to do it again for at least 72 hours. But anyway, we don't want to ride him too hard because we like him a lot. We don't want to break down at the 3-mile marker. So he's out for now. But that does mean that the Beethoven awardee has forfeited his rights to the exercise of Beethoven because he's not here. So I have to re-award the Beethoven, both for balancing purposes and for the purposes of forcing someone to do the summary. So the person who I most considered awarding Beethoven to in lieu of Ed last week around was Chad. So Congratulations, Chad. You have Beethoven. And I will. Oh yes, if you'll look at.
I'm trying to make him. There we go. Now he's moving over to Chad's house.
Yes. Oh, very good, very good, dude. Oh my God!
Shit yourself if I reach off camera and brought it.
Why didn't we think of that before?
No, dude.
Okay.
If we had like some Videodrome level crap like that going on, I would just.
Well, you know how you get that. You just order a couple more and then.
Ship Beethoven
Yeah.
to everyone.
Right.
Just to screw with people.
All right, Dan. This will be a $25 dent to the monthly Patreon, but this will be worth it. Okay. So, Chad, if you would please summarize what happened to us in Game 2, I will allow you to compel a reroll of your choice. It can be you, it can be any NPC, or it can be any other PC with that PC's consent.
Well, not last week, but last time we decided to set off from the smoking hole in the ground that was our dwarf hole, filled with lava, demons, and other badness. There was some discussion on where to go next. Actually, that was kind of a common theme of what to do next, because we have a lot of options open to us. Sorry, I was watching Dan. I'm watching the Twitch stream, which is delayed, and I was watching Dan play with the Beethoven.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, we went to a gnome's farm.
Yes.
Whose name I don't remember.
Rodney.
And we basically bartered for supplies and provisions. Back and forth, there were the sort of thieves, the burgeoning future thieves guild dwarves, who we suspected stole some of his wine, so we had to do some investigations in that end. And then once we got provisioned, we set off to Large Mountain, Iron Mountain, I think it was called.
You guys can.
Number.
No.
It was like some Vietnam Hill 34.
That Mountain 78 is the scouting site that they thought there was adamantine at, but that they never heard from the scouting party again, so they never named and no one heard from. The mountain that you went to is called Kazadheim, and that was the name of the original town. You can rename it if you want. Everyone who remembers Kazadheim is dead now, but that's what the old folks called it.
So, we're at Kazakheim, or no, at Kazakheim. We went to basically the old dwarf hold, which had icy themes to it.
There was a dragon in there. There was a young one.
Not a dragon, but it was like a worm, wyvern, whatever the hell.
No, it was a dragon. It was just a really young, hatchling type.
Yeah. And then there was some kobolds or some other yippy sort of thing. They had traps. I remember there was this magical sort of icicle trap. And we cleared them out. Now, we did not delve deeply into the hold, but we sort of secured the entrance and felt safe, set up our settlers. And we also found some items, magical items and whatnot. I remember Bran got a hammer. This character, Edwin, started writing the new story of our dwarven history. so to speak. And that's about where we left it.
And the kobolds knew where we were.
That's correct. The kobolds were a variant of kobold that has wings, and they found you on the approach and dropped rocks on you. But
Yeah, I was.
while it knocked Ed into the death minigame of 5e, it did not actually kill anyone. I believe they critted him. I believe the only rock that actually hit one of your armor classes hit on Ed, and it was a 20. So it crit him so hard that he was too sick to come to game 3. And there we have it. All right, folks. Well, Kazenheim has 2 large circular-ish chambers that you guys are able to get to with basically 0 excavation. You flagged the icicle spike pit trap for the following settlers to come by and walk around. There's no risk of the church ladies falling into it or anything with the stakes you put up around it. And it's pretty much your territory to do with what you choose. If there was ever furniture in this place, you know there must have been hundreds of years ago before you guys all left, well, your grandfathers all left for the Iron Mountain. But all of that is gone, either lost simply to the sands of time or to the following hordes of kobolds and dragons and whatever else has taken up shop in this place. The Ironbloods did not leave a rear guard. They just got super big, too big for this place, and then left out. The other thing of value, aside from the 2 large chambers, well, there's 2 other things of value. For one, there's snaking passages that go everywhere, many of which are closed now due to cave-ins and debris. You're sure that with some excavation, you could open up holes to new rooms, possibly a 19-floor mega dungeon, possibly a 2x2 box room where you're allowed to store your extra mushrooms. You don't really know until you clear them all out, and you certainly can't clear them all out right now. It's going to require a lot of time and a lot of labor. And also, more immediate value are the veins of iron, peppered with veins of cold iron among them, which are snaking through your 2 chambers and all the chamber walls. Your dwarven senses tell you that at one time there was a reasonably well-constructed mining complex down here that was able to get this ore out in an orderly fashion if there were crafty craftsmen to do it, but the intervening centuries and the monsters and the cobalt tunnels, etc., have made a bit of a wreck of that. It's still salvageable, but a lot of the useful material has already been harvested, and the structures that were set up to funnel it outward in an orderly fashion have just been ravaged in between then and now. So you could definitely get a supply of iron coming out of this thing if you worked at it. There's some stuff that was unearthed all but accidentally by the tunneling and erosion that you could probably get out pretty easily, but there won't be too much of that. Beyond that point, you'll need an organized effort to get it out of the ground. You have a few decent miners in your troop, but you don't have any heavy-duty craftsmen. You don't have any decent blacksmiths. So if you want to really get all the value you can out of this iron, you're going to have to find some skilled labor. With that said, the survivors have huddled behind you. They're beginning to file into the opening chamber and poke around curiously. No one's hurting themselves or anything, but they're just sort of milling around, grumbling, wondering which corner is theirs and what they're going to do. Before I go over to the PC actions, I did forget ceremonial destruction of the smartphones for increased massive experience gain. I'm putting mine over here where you can see it, but I do have my handy dandy bucket. Boom, boom, boom. George puts his into a glass or it doesn't
I'll
really
put
fit
mine
in.
into a drawer. I just hurt myself on the other drawer, so.
Okay, well, don't hurt yourself. But once again, now and forever, my lesson for you, the viewer of the actual play, if you're taking this for GM tips and you take nothing else, kill your smartphone and heavily invite your players to kill their smartphones as well. Okay, now that I have to say that every game and it's out of the way, what are you guys doing now that you've finally found Dwarfheim, even though it's a shambles at this point?
Okay, I'm going to describe this more out of character just to keep it briefer. Briefer, is that a word? Just keep it brief.
Brief, more brief.
All right. Okay, we had established, if I remember right, in the prior game, that the people we have with us, because they're largely part of an underclass, um, they're not, the soldiers and the warriors and such, that they have the know-how to farm. So, we can start passing out the foodstuffs, get somebody who's reliable and not criminal to start divvying that up, get the mushroom farm started, get somebody putting together basic, real simple just like fencing to keep in the goats and such that we got. But one thing that
Yes, you have 36 survivor dwarves, 15 combatants, 21 non-combatants, and among them are a variety of unskilled and semi-skilled workers, including farmers. You don't have the grain magnate of Chicago ready to trade futures at 2 years in advance notice, but you absolutely have enough trustworthy and competent people to get the mushroom farm going without looking over their shoulder and build the goat fence and all that other stuff.
right. Okay. So what we had discussed as characters was that now that the people are safely here, I believe Bran had wanted to go poke around Mountain 78 and see if we can make it safe for even more lucrative ventures. And the point of contention had been the safety of the general populace, but now that's established. So, skipping past all those actions, Edwin approaches Bran. Uh, I think the people will be fed for the near future. I've already shown a few of them that the ice left behind by the worm can be used in place of steel to chisel stone. They can get out iron ore, and being dwarves, I can't imagine smelting it will be very hard for them. I'd be happy to leave my book of history behind so that it's in safekeeping if you still want to explore Mountain 78. I'd be happy to accompany you there, for whatever my sword is worth.
Well, I guess. Actually, I more have a question about like our current situation. The cave we're in, is it fully explored? I mean, you said that there are rooms and stuff that are kind of filled in, and we can uncover or we can chisel out new ones. Is there does this thing go back further and we just haven't explored it yet? Or is this, it is what we have and we have to make it more?
There's nothing immediately accessible that you haven't scoped out yet. There are a dozen passages that are crumpled inward or broken by falling rocks. So while there's nowhere you can go right now and without hours into days of many, many strong people moving crap out of the way, there is, you think, more to this complex. And in fact, using your dwarven intuition, that's just going to be a gimme. Like this place was bigger when the tribe left it the first time. It's been poorly maintained, and there's more to it than these two rooms, large as they are.
I know there's no easy way to tell this just by looking at a pile of rocks, but do we have any sense just how dramatic those cave-ins are? I mean, is this the sort of thing that can be cleared in minutes, hours, days, weeks?
I'll let one of you roll an appropriate skill or simply an intelligence check to assess how hard it's going to be to get to the next set of chambers and where to start.
Okay,
To a totally untrained eye, it just looks like this one has rocks, that one has rocks.
John, I'm going to ask for kind of a weird skill, but let me explain why I think it's appropriate. Can I roll history? And the reason is, if this is the ancestral home of the Ironblood Dwarves, I'm wondering if maybe I actually know something about its layout, and therefore by looking at which support beams have given way, can guess how big of an area we're talking about that's collapsed.
I'll give you a history roll to give the main roll a positive modification, because that is a circumstantially useful piece of evidence, but not useful enough to ascertain what's behind
Wow.
rock number 2. You rolled a 1 anyway. Okay.
Never mind.
So Edwin,
I
you come on to a good trail here. You're thinking, all right, these legends all have a kernel of reference to this cave and that passage, blah blah blah, and door number 4 is going to be right there. I just know it. And door number 4 is the the spike pit.
Yeah.
And you're like, maybe I shouldn't rely on that knowledge.
want
Okay,
to
George, you were
use
jumping in.
stone masonry. I am a proficient stonemason.
That's pretty much dead on. Does anyone
And
else have any sort of contributing skills they would like to offer to this role in the way that Dan just
Botched.
tried?
I too am a
Yeah.
stonemason, and
Okay.
I'm proficient when it comes to any history roll involving stonemasonry.
Well, that's also rather dead on. All right, because Chad, you and George are so dead on, I'll give you each a fully fledged role to do this. Miranda, do you have any sort of relevant skill?
To know about rocks?
Anything here? You're the one that decided to play an elf in the dwarf game.
I wanted some more. Why don't you? Besides the actual cave part, then yeah, because mountain is her terrain, but not.
Oh, really?
oh,
Mountain is your favorite ranger terrain?
Well, she's
Would you-
been.
Oh, okay, Chad just
Around
aced it.
mountains for-
Never mind. Never
I
mind
even-
your dandelion eater crap.
You know, I forgot
God.
to put my modifier in there too,
You
so it's
did.
actually a little higher.
Well, don't be good without it.
putting them back into the knothole of a tree or whatever you do with the leaves.
Slowly explained in a rocks are hard. They go on the ground.
They're not leaves.
You cannot eat rocks.
Opposite of leaves.
Okay, so Bran, for whatever reason, you can just feel this place in your dwarven tradition-loving veins. You look to the cluster of cave-ins to the west of the central chamber, and you just kind of intuit first, but then confirm with your technical, more, shall we say, worldly skill in stonemasonry, that particular chamber, the third one from the side of the entrance, is the real one. It's not fully caved in. There are a bunch of rocks here, and it's going to take a lot of people a fair amount of time. But if you unclear that one, you will get to another set of rooms. Then you go to the south wall and the east wall and make the same determination. You find the one of the snaking tunnels that you can tell is going to lead you downward and inward. You are pretty sure that on the south wall and the west wall, you're going to be headed into more habitable space. On the east wall, you're going to be headed to where the real load of the ore is. So you can choose to allocate your labor accordingly.
We should probably clear living space first, and then head to the mining.
Yeah, I agree. We're safe. Now it's time to get settled. So we have to get people living, we have to get food going, and then we also really need to look towards a source of income.
You do remember that the city of Ulm is about a month away on foot, faster if you use horses or the rivers.
And I can ride a horse.
And yeah, you can.
Got one?
No.
If
We
yeah,
have
you don't
one
have one.
donkey.
I can totally ride a horse. No one believes me, but I can totally ride a
Oh, I
horse.
fully believe you. We just don't have one.
I think I ate a horse once.
There is no prohibition against horse meat in dwarven culture. It's often seen as a waste because they're pretty useful for other things, but they get old.
Mhm. Well, um, I guess let's start getting people organized and clearing out like actual living space instead of just this sort of campground at the mouth of the cave that we have going on. Um, and also getting out any of the corpses. And I'm sure that there's like a lot of
Dead
kobold.
kobold.
Yeah, dead kobold, kobold feces, kobold food, which is kobold feces, and the like.
Yeah, there are kobold corpses. And Bran is pretty sure that the western wall leads to smaller dugouts. That's probably more going to be the residential area. The southern wall is going to lead to more large things. And it's also going to go farther down.
John, the flying kobolds are opportunistic raiders, as was their little dragon boss. Looking through their pile of junk, is there anything in there that's not per se valuable in the sense of it's a fist-sized ruby, but valuable in the sense of like this is somebody's signet ring, this is a letter, this is something that could be delivered to whomever they took it from or their next of kin to build a relationship?
That's an interesting question. I'm going to roll a D100, and the higher this roll is, the more immediately obvious and/or valuable the thing you're looking for will be.
So not
Okay.
really.
Well, I'm not going to say that's a 0. Um, hmm.
You can use the kobold guano as fireball spell component.
That is true. But I'll give you more than that. You
Sounds
Find a book of kobold poetry.
find a set
book of
of
You find the kobold Kama
banged up.
Sutra.
Oh God. I forgot what I was
Every
going to
page
say.
Every page is just lizards screaming at each other.
No, that's the kobold. Kobolds are from Kryn. Goblins are from Westeros. Um. All right. All right. For a
Set up.
19. Okay, for a 19, Dan, you find a satchel of tinker's goods, some of which you think could be repurposed for the use of mining and jewel crafting, maybe for very, very light, very, very fine work. But there's no like, this belongs to Ragnar from Mountain Number 5. Deliver it for 1,000 gold. None of that there. There is some stuff that appears these kobolds raided off of people, and just kind of threw in the pile because they weren't immediately edible or shiny. And the most useful thing you find among them, there's a couple of rotten old clothes and a belt buckle here and there,
All
but
right,
a sack of tinkerer's goods.
then John. I seem to have lost my game notes, so I don't remember his name. But what is the guy that we've been talking to from the thieves group?
Leopold?
Leopold is the leader of the thieves. Petra is the assassin girl, and Nurgrim is the fence that perhaps bought the
What's the one that
Chianti.
came off Patreon? Let's give some love.
Okay, that was Nurgrim.
That's Nurgrim. Okay.
We don't put our Patreon NPCs in gold letters like they do in Pillars of Eternity, so we can ignore them. They're part of our real family. But I see where you're going with this.
All right. So I'm going to approach Nurgrim with the Tinker's tools, and I'll request a persuasion check here in a second. But you can ask for that when you feel it's appropriate. So I'm going to
Yeah,
take.
I mean, if you want something outrageous, I'll make you roll for it. If you just want to talk to him, I won't.
No, I'm going to approach Nurgrim with the Tinker's tools and some of the other what I think are useful scraps from the things that I just salvaged, plus possibly some things that we needed, like rope bindings and such, that we may have picked up from the gnome that we needed to get here, but don't need to move. Don't need now that we are here. So I'm gonna approach him with a bunch of this stuff. And Nergrim, I I realize I have no authority over you, but I wanted to implore you to take a job upon yourself. If you can, I opened the bag. You can see there's some rather useful tools in here, and we have rope and uh, good tension on it. No shortage of spikes around here. I know I don't have enough money to help you with your usual motives, but survival's a good motive, I guess, and we're rather
My
vulnerable.
motives are nothing but pure. What would you like me to do, Edwin?
I was wondering if you wouldn't mind setting some traps both by the door and in the surrounding area to kill anything that might wander too close to here, or at least give us a warning. Sound a bell, drop a bucket, something.
Hmm. I'll do it, but you owe me one.
The tools, they're yours.
Oh, no, no, a favor. I'll take the tools, of course.
What kind of favor do you have in mind?
Oh, nothing I've thought of yet. Something proportional in reciprocation. Nothing outrageous. I'm not going to make you kill the great dragon. But maybe sometimes I'll
Proportional
perhaps
in
want
both.
to deal with someone who doesn't want to deal with me, and then I can send you with the coin bag or something. That kind of thing.
I can accept that, but proportional in both scope and morality. I'm
Oh, of course. I'm not going
Since
to
you're an honest
kill
businessman,
someone.
there's just consider that statement a formality.
Naturally, naturally, naturally. He takes the bag and stomps over to the place where the moles are hanging out and sort of dumps it out in front of them. One of the moles you don't recognize, and Petra start looking them over. They pick up pieces, look them over, start separating in the piles, and a few minutes after that, they're going to town with the tinker's tools, lashing a bit of wire to a hook, putting tarp over a little short dug pit to test something out, and they're making traps.
Okay, well, they're doing that then. I will unhook the donkey from the cart and bring it inside so that if Brand goes through with his plan to start clearing the rocks, we've got something to help.
Yeah, the donkey clomps on in. He looks kind of uncomfortable underground, but
He's barely underground. He's fine.
he's just a slightly stubborn donkey. He's a hobbit donkey. He's been raised to a life of
Hobbit donkey's a
ease,
honky.
even for
Yeah,
donkey. I don't know
he's
about
really
that.
fat. He loves pie.
Yeah, he's fed 6 times a day. In fact, he's kind of wondering where all the apples are. Like he's you've been feeding him grain and he's okay with that, but he's used to a certain standard of living. This whole not being on a hobbit farm is not providing him. He's a little cranky, but just a little. He's still following instructions.
All right. Well, setting people to work. I start setting them to clear out like actual living spaces, dig stuff out, haul out bodies. We start a pyre outside the entrance to the cave, off to the side, and we start throwing kobold bodies there and every other gross thing, and just light it on fire.
Cobalt Obi-Wan spawns behind the pyre, smiles at you. Yeah, that doesn't take very long. The trash is actually pretty light in here for a dragon kobold den. There were only 5 of those things. Usually there are many, many more, but they're
Well,
not here, and they're not dead here either. So scraping up their crap and their bodies takes an hour, and then
Yeah,
it's done.
and that is partially my concern too. Is that where there's 5, there's usually 500. And I'm kind of
Yes.
wondering where the other 495 are. But there's not a whole lot we can do. There's slowly realized that there's no real leadership here, and he's just been shouting orders at people to keep them moving. And he's kind of starting to run out of ideas and work, but we need to get some like actual official.
Well, we do have that one elder, but of course,
But he's crazy.
well, so in character, I totally
Bran
respect
is all
him,
about that.
but
Yeah, out of character, no way. But
out
in
of character,
character, oh
yes.
yeah, put him in charge.
Yeah, in character, I
Kabak
totally.
seems to be looking at Bran, Alban, and Golem as the sort of dwarves who rose to the moment. Bran and Alban especially. But yeah, Bran's observation is valid. These are 40 people in search of a leader. That no one is refusing any request reasonably made of anyone else, but very few are taking charge. The moles are a little bit organized. Like when Edwin gave them that stuff and that job, they got right down to it and sort of fell back into their own internal organization structure, mostly listening to Leopold. But there's no order of succession for this. The Adamantine Guard is dead or gone. The Iron Guard is dead or gone. There are a handful of corner beat cop level copper guard spread throughout you guys, but they're not taking command. They're not used to it, and they don't. They're instinctively trained to look to see what's going on. The two people that are being heated mostly are Bran and Alban. At this point, it's mostly Bran because Bran is simply the one that's telling people what to do.
And he's very shouty because that's what you do in the military. You shout a lot. So.
That's right, and they're taking to it well. The Dwarven society is very regimented. Even the ones that don't serve formally, they essentially live in an arcology. They all have their place. They all have their roles for situation X demands response Y. There's nothing in the playbook for it thrown across the continent, and we just killed flying kobolds. So we're all just kind of like, will somebody in the military or the clergy please tell me what to do so I can feel good about not being aimless and lost?
And our guy in the clergy has horns, so it's yeah.
Well, no, he's in the wizard library.
Alban, yeah,
Alban's in the clergy, and Alban is.
Alban's just a normal dwarf. He's just a guy with a stone chisel in one hand and a prayer something in the other, some kind of prayer rock.
He's just a down-to-earth, blue-collar, hard-working dwarf. You're the Bruce Springsteen of dwarves.
He has songs about Bruce Springsteen. The bards will write of him and his hard-scrabble life on a Martian mining colony. Actually, sorry, Miranda, go ahead.
The dwarves into... I imagine there was something resembling a caste system in the old place, like farmers probably hung out together, miners, and so on. We should pick whoever is
a triumvirate
of the rest of the farmers and put him in charge of the farmers. So at least each little subsection has someone who can make decisions when we're not here.
Yeah, because that's kind of the thing I'm concerned with is that we either...
The heck kind of dwarf logic is coming from this elf?
For like 120 years, so suck it, dwarf.
Anna issues a call for the farmers, and 8 of them amble over to her. They look a little porkier than most of the rest of them.
Got a test for poison.
What?
You got a test for poison.
That's right.
I'm backing Anna up on this.
Which
And they sort of look at each other, and they look at Anna, and they look at Alban. Which has the what?
Most experience.
It's hard to tell. There's a couple that look like they're a little older than the others. There's none that are true elders, or is there? Let's see.
We could ask them.
Well, was this a kingdom? I mean, did we have like a king?
Yeah, you had a king and a queen.
Means there is hierarchical nobility. Like, is there any aristocracy here at all?
None. They are.
We are going to start a socialist commune.
All either in the Adamantine Guard or the Iron Guard, depending on their rank. When
I
last
line
you
out
saw
with-
all of those guys, they were rushing down into the source of the flame as honor and doctrine both demand.
Out my plan to turn this into a dwarven kibbutz.
So you're simultaneously a communist and an Israeli farming settlement.
Yes.
Let's do it. All right. So when you call the farmers around you, Miranda, they just come over for lack of anything better to do or any reason not to. And it looks like 2 or 3 of them are of a pretty ripe old age, but it's hard for your elf eyes to tell. Dwarves reach physical maturity after a few decades, and they maintain this sort of like 50-year-old craggy featured man look thing going until they're about 400. So most of them are in that zone, as are most of the non-farmer dwarves, as are Albin and Bran.
Well, I will use words then to ask them if there's any who has
Whoa.
experience in the
Words?
words.
You like
come out of my
headbutting
mouth.
and drinking. I mean, there's a
Yeah,
process.
no, I'm not doing that.
One of them steps forward and says, "I am the finest farmer in the history of dwarven lands. My mushrooms are the size." Do you like run at him?
Maybe later.
Okay.
Maybe after a few drinks.
My mushrooms are the size of a human's fist, and juicier than the bulb of the finest fruit.
Oh. I totally okay Bran. I actually nod to Bran as he steps, like, intimidate this guy. Let's see if he's...
Does any of the
Oh,
other
yeah,
characters
no.
object to what?
See if he
Yeah.
gets the mustard.
Mere moments after this happens, when as soon as Albin starts to try to talk, another guy who's at the other end of the line steps forward and says, "Hogwash, Simon! I am the finest farmer, and we've both known it for centuries." And then they start to scream at each other.
Now can I nod at Bran again? Just frickin' get in there, like, do that thing that, like, bros do when they step and see if, like, any of them, like, just straight up intimidate them and see who backs down.
Albin gives me the high sign, and I want to try to.
I give you the okay to
intimidate
be
them.
Bran nod.
Yeah.
You want to try to do what?
He's going to be
I'm
Bran.
going to intimidate him. I'm just going to see who is. We're trying to see who backs down first, because the first guy to back down, he's out.
Okay,
if
are you
somebody
going to go
stands-
after Simon or the guy who came and yelled at him?
I think he's going to go as a group
Both of them.
intimidate
Yeah.
if he can.
I'm going to go.
Okay. What?
Beat out
What?
some people.
What? Okay, role play this out. Do it. And then
I
give me
nod
an
to
intimidate
Simon
roll.
first. Do Simon first.
I go.
Whoever
you know,
spoke first.
Yeah, I go up to Simon, and I kind of Bran ambles up, and he's like, "I'm gonna have to sort this shit out." And he's in his full battle rattle, and he like swings his warhammer at Simon, and he's like, "Why don't you sit down, you pipsqueak?" And then he swings over and he points at the other guy, and you shut the fuck up. And he just was like brandishing this, and anybody who's got any problems, you better speak up and talk to the hammer, sort of thing.
All right, roll me.
Will actually piss themselves, or
Persuasion, intimidate, whatever it is. And so. Okay, I'm gonna roll. Here we go.
oh, somebody's pooping their pants.
Wow.
Oh!
Fight,
We
fight,
found our
fight,
line!
fight.
All right.
That sounds
So
like
Simon, the guy who stood up first, as soon as you whip it out, like whoosh, just sort of like Homer Simpson's fading into the bush, kind of hovers backward until he's behind all the other dwarves in the line comfortably. And then Narnan looks Bran dead in the eye, reaches into his side pouch, and produces the most succulent mushroom that anyone has ever seen. And he shoves it in Bran's chest and says, "I won my wife with these mushrooms. I will
shit.
bend my knee to none. You will eat that mushroom, you will thank me for it, and you will appoint me to lead this operation."
Bran holds up the mushroom, and he looks at the other dwarves assembled, and he's like, any of you sons of bitches got anything else to say? And then he takes a big ass bite out of it.
Oh god, it's so delicious. It's so.
Looks
The
like
other
we have a
ones,
winner.
the other ones step back and murmur, and look at Narnan, meekly.
All
And
hail Narnan,
Narnan tells Bran,
Administrator of Agriculture.
"I'll get this place running like a gnomish clock.
Hmm.
In 19 days, the first of the mushrooms will be coming up. Bring me back all that cobalt shit. I want it. I have plans for it."
All
I
right.
hand him back the mushroom. Do I know this guy? Do I know who his wife is?
Well, you do now.
You do now. You do.
Did his wife make it?
You would no. His wife did not make it. You would recognize.
Bran looks him.
Mrs.
Bran looks him
Faulkner.
right in the eyes, and he says, "All these people are yours. I'm sorry about your wife." And he hands him back the mushroom, and he walks away.
He takes the mushroom and he says, "I'm sorry too. In 30 days, there will be rows of mushrooms enough to feed this place for a month. 30 days after that, 3 months. 30 days after that, indefinitely."
I pat his shoulder. We meet on Mondays. And by we, I mean you and whoever else we appoint, because we'll be off doing something stupid.
The, realm.
They saunter off to the donkey and break out a crate. One of the many that were banging around the whole time. They pry it open with a crowbar, and farming implements just fall out. And they pick up a couple of spades and start making rows.
I turn around to Alvin and Edwin, and I'm like, "Okay, so we're fed. We need masons
Miners.
or
We haven't got-
miners."
Masons and miners can all go in one lump.
Yeah.
We need. We should give the moles some kind of. We can. You know what?
We've got a bunch of
Tankers?
handful of guards, right?
Handful of what?
Guards. We've got at least.
Oh yeah, there's 5 members of the Copper Guard milling around. Only one of them you recognize as someone you've dealt with before, and it is Undin, the guy who was there on the morning shift that didn't know where the rest of everyone was.
Let's do the same thing with them, and then we'll deal with the miners and masons and whatever else.
They actually have a command structure, so you can do that same thing with them, but they are already following Undin around. Because Undin was a watch leader back before the world blew up, and none of the rest of them were.
That works.
Right.
Hey, who was the head of
watch leader?
the thiefy people again?
Hold.
Definitely Leopold.
Okay.
You're kind
Walk
of
over to
getting the
Leopold.
impression that Petra is actually better at doing thief things than he is. The traps that she's building are coming out quite rapidly, but they are all looking to Leopold for instructions. All right.
I'm going to
You walk up to him.
go to Leopold, just put my hand on his shoulder, and be like, "Leopold, congratulations, head of the new Tinkerers Union. You are a Tinkerer Union." And I look at him with a very straight face, and then I go, "You meet on Tuesdays."
He squints at you and then smiles and says, "Am I to understand that this is the approval of the church?"
It is not anything. Shut up.
Why, thank you, good patriarch.
Just show up and
I don't see any other clerics here. That makes you the patriarch. He bows deeply,
I glower at his bow,
but he's still smirking and trying to walk away. He makes this huge, dramatic arm sweep and a bow, and invokes the traditional greeting, which is the blessings of the ancestors be upon the patriarch for now and forever. And you can see the church ladies who were totally ignoring you turn around and their eyes widen and they go into these deep, formal prostrations, hit the ground with their noses, and then stand back up again and smile at you so brightly. They start talking to one another extremely excitedly.
That
the
happened.
ancestors
That happened.
save us all.
You brought this on yourself, and you decided to talk to him.
Yeah, well, anyone brings everything on themselves when they talk to him always. Okay, so we have some people, and you know what? Let's just put Kavik as some kind of
Elder.
elder that oversees these people to make sure they don't.
Still need to organize the miners.
Well, the miners are all behind uh, the thing. Arden. What was that guy? We already have a guy.
No, we've got
What?
guards. We didn't
We want
do.
guards.
No, the copper guard are not copper miners. They're watchmen
Guards.
and low-level light infantry.
So we need to do the miners still.
There are plenty of unorganized dwarves still milling around.
If I may point out, we may have a problem of numbers here. We can put together enough people to farm. We can put together people to do traps and basic defense. We can probably squeeze enough people out of that to do mining. So we have something to trade. Throw in a few people to handle the day-to-day operations, distribution of food, cleaning, the simple tasks like that. We have 37 people here. We're out of dwarves.
Sort everybody out so that we can get a vague semblance of maybe a council, so that when we're not here, we know that they're not going to go and basically in charge of clearing the tunnels and eventually setting up mines would be a good idea.
Well, if it is the will of the elder or the church to continue the Ironblood dwarves and to do so relatively rapidly, aggressively, then it may behoove us to go to a nearby city, find some clanless dwarves, and flesh out the numbers. 37 people isn't going. I mean, we can sustain this colony, but
I'm not disputing that, but we need to set up a leadership before we go there, is what I'm saying. When we go, they don't fall apart because nobody's making decisions.
John, I have, per prior games, I have a dwarven history, and I also have a lineage of everyone here. Apart from Kavik, who's senile and crazy, is there anyone here at all who has any, I don't care how obscure, any claim to leadership?
Okay. Give me a history check. At first glance, no, but maybe if you get real cute with it and check the right cross references in the right order. Okay. You discover that Undin, the watch leader, actually is from a forgotten cadet branch of a forgotten noble clan. And if you trace it back far enough, loopholing through cousins and aunts and everybody else, there's a whisper of a fart of a hint of a claim for minor nobility in his ancestry.
Okay, I grab Albin and Kavak, the latter more for the sake of propriety, and I work them through that lineage and say, okay, Undin is the son of so and so, 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 and work them back through the dwarven history, using their own book that I grabbed on the way out, and show them, that he was once a part of a golden lineage back many ancestors. Perhaps it would be a good idea to make him a viceroy, some kind of an operating leader, just to create order. Abek, I know that you, being a man of tradition, wisdom, and story, have better things to do than to mind to the counting of people and the passing out of mushrooms, so perhaps it would best fall to Undin, and there is a claim. He has a valid claim here to do it.
Cabot grunts and says, I certainly don't want to be in charge of handing out the mushroom passage, but if we do this, it probably won't be temporary. If he's the only noble left, then he's the only noble left, and I think we have to make him the king.
Well, Rand saunters up and he's like, why don't we do it how they did in the old days? See who wants the job, and if there's more than one, let them fight it out.
We don't have enough dwarves to incapacitate a bunch of people in a brawl.
Kabak winces at that suggestion. If word caught out that there was one of noble blood, and that he was defeated by one of ignoble blood, and the ignoble one was ruling, there would be grumbling, and perhaps more. Alban, you definitely know that's true. The dwarves. This is all woven in very, very tightly with your clerical tradition. There's a birth order. There's a hierarchy. The belief in a sort of salutary inequality is extremely deep in this society. If you don't tell this guy he's a minor noble, he clearly doesn't know, and he might never find out. But if you do, and the word does get out, people are going to insist that he's the king now.
On the other hand, he's also a low-ranking watch commander.
Also true. These are strange times.
We need to
Officer?
pocket.
What's that,
He's in the.
Is this guy even an officer?
No. As far as you can tell, he was a NCO in the Copper Guard, something analogous to a E5, E6 sergeant.
Well, how about this? Either way, say we set this guy up and we're kingmakers to show that he is worthy. It is one thing to have blood, but it's another thing to get people to think he can hold it. What if ask him if he wants it, and if he does, he beats me. And then I kneel to him.
But then, how many people are gonna see it's a farce? Fool everyone. And a deception is a deception. If we're gonna go that route, I say we keep this information in our pocket, see if he proves himself. He's already in a position of power. He's already learning. He's got people looking up to him. He's got plenty of time to prove himself one way or the other. We can come out with this discovery whenever. It's the system at hand. We let Kabak oversee things, and especially watch over him, because he will be our choice. My other concern is if we make him king now, king-making this early when we've just lost, we don't know where the king and queen are. We're essentially saying they're dead, which is a bit of a blow.
Kabak agrees immediately and says, well, they'll do whatever I tell them to for a while just because I'm old, and that's what dwarves do. But I don't want to lead this place forever. I'm not going to live forever.
No, we're gonna
Alban,
give you some kind of something.
Alban, I look around, making sure we're kind of well away from the general crowd. Alban, I have to admit, I'm a bit shocked here. The Ironblood are a noble and long-lived line of dwarves. The ancestors have shown this clan favor again and again and again throughout its history, and even now, though there was a culling, a tragic culling of the numbers, the Ironblood pulled through with a remnant and have now returned to their ancestral home, which is perhaps what the ancestor spirits wanted to begin with. And amongst us is an individual who, by whatever miracle, does have a claim to a noble title, and we're talking about manipulating the circumstances to give him a title and a position that is rightfully his, and this shows a shocking lack of faith in the provision and the involvement of the ancestors in daily life. If he must prove himself to be king, then let him prove himself. If the ancestors smile upon him, he'll survive it. If he doesn't, then he was not meant to be king.
And he's not meant to be king. Then who?
Then what? The blood is the blood is thin.
Then you ought to trust that there is some design. There is someone upon whom the ancestors smile, whose heart is true and iron.
Yeah, and I have a suspicion of who those people are. It's probably one of us, and none of us want that.
We have bigger obligations to fulfill. We've got to go. We've got to see what we can find about these demons and what they're plotting. I doubt they're going to stop with our mountain. There's lots of fish to fry. What about this? What about a compromise? We don't appoint him king. We agency or leadership position, but not king. So there's an understanding that he is of the highest blood and the highest heritage, and thus we've also acknowledged the thinness of that by not giving him full kingship. That lets us. I mean, we would be in a rock and a hard place if he doesn't turn out. We would have to find a dwarf still alive from our heritage that is of a higher blood to replace him, because otherwise we are beholden to him until something better comes along.
Kabak says, well, Alban, you're the only one left that can coronate anyway, so if you want to put him on probation, you're the last cleric. You could. He might agree to it. He might be mad. The people might agree to it. They might be mad. We've all heard the grumbling. Some of them are sure that everyone who's not in this room is dead. Some of them are not so sure and think that perhaps they can be rescued from some demon pit somewhere, or perhaps even back at the Iron Mountain.
Bring him in. We'll let him choose. But yeah, bring him in. We'll let him decide.
All right.
If he doesn't want it, then we can't make him do it. We'll let him know what duty eventually is, but yeah.
Kabak stomps off and taps him on the shoulder, and he turns around and stomps over to your little conversation circle that's off out of hearing from everybody else, and looks at Alban and says, "Oh, it's you. You wanted to see me?"
Yeah. What's his name again? Arbach?
His name is Undin. His name is Jerry Orbach.
Yeah, he's
Not-
a Pokemon.
He's not a Pokemon?
Yeah.
Okay.
Arbok,
Okay.
son of Snorlax.
Listen, Undid. I may not know your name very well, but our here has uncovered some interesting information. It turns out you are the noble blood of these dwarves and possibly the heir apparent to our clan. Any other escapees, all the escapees are with us currently.
He says, Patriarch, I'm not even a noble. Where are you getting this from?
History says the books say, I'll let Edwin, please.
Actually, the history books say that you are. Distantly so. But nonetheless, drops of very royal blood do run in your veins. There's a concept that I'm not sure it has a strong parallel in dwarven societies, but exists in many other societies. The concept of a viceroy. The term literally means in place of or instead of a king. Viceroys are usually appointed when a king is still alive to act on behalf of the king, but in this case, we don't know the status of the king. But this band of survivors, small as it is, needs some form of leadership, some structure to look to believe in. And going by the traditions of the ancestors, you're the only person here that fits that requirement. If
And
you
if
don't,
King Eurist is dead, I'm the king. But if he's alive, I'm nothing.
which no,
Unless you all want me to be a
if
vice
he
admiral or whatever you just said.
even if he is alive, you are still of noble blood. The fact that this was never noticed or recognized before doesn't change that fact. If the king was here now, I could show him the same thing I am prepared to show you from texts that greatly predate my birth. But you are, in fact, you have a noble birthright.
Hmm. He looks at Albin and says, "Is this all true?"
It's hard to argue with the books from our library, and it is
I
a
don't read books,
dictate
but I listen to
well
you now that you're the patriarch.
of our religion to place the greatest of our ancestors at the forefront. That being said, we wouldn't want you to put you in anything predisposed to. Uh, some kind of title, viceroy. It's not very dwarf. Needs something for you, but you need to watch things over. We're not going to be around all the time. The rest of us need to leave. We need to go see what happened to our kin. We can't let this go unanswered. There are devils roaming our countryside, and everyone's safe, but we also make sure that if we don't come back, have someone to see you through it if we don't make it.
Well, I am the ranking member of the Copper Guard, which is the only guard that's left. I don't imagine you want to put the mole people in charge. Don't imagine the
Given
worm poop farmers are itching to take command. If you're telling me I'm king for the day, okay.
So, what are we going to call him?
Well, if you still have faith that a king will emerge or be born eventually, the term for that would be a regent. If you prefer a regent to
Dwarf Regent. Now it sounds dwarfy.
There have been regencies before in Ironblood history. Everybody knows that.
That works.
Regent, huh? Except instead of a boy king, we got a king who we don't know if he's alive or dead. Well, you're the patriarch, and you, Edwin, are the bookworm. Okay. Just tell everyone they got to do what I say until we dig up King Eurus, and I'll run this place.
I've set you up with a council. I strongly advise you heed their words. We have farmer. We have Narnan. He will head up the agriculture. Leopold. He is the head of the Tinkerers Guild.
2 years.
And
I've arrested that one more times than I have fingers and toes.
you'll have to pick someone, since we were going to make you part of the mining group, but
You weren't.
all mining and masonry operations, you'll have to pick someone to oversee that.
I can do that. We got enough miners in here to at least start. You want me clearing those rocks, or you want me digging up some cold iron?
Rocks first.
Make everything habitable, and then start mining cold iron. We'll sell the raw ore if we have to. We don't even necessarily need to smelt it. It's worth enough.
I reckon it'll be worth a ton.
Yeah, even if whatever makes the most money, whatever makes the fastest money that keeps us afloat, get something going. Do that. And if you ever need to yell anyone straight and they don't like you, just put sick Kavik on them.
Kavik laughs at that. And Kavik says, Alban, if you want these people to think that the Sergeant of the Night Watch is the new King, Viceroy, Regent, Master Admiral Commander, you better coronate him. Because they
That's
don't
the
believe
plan.
it.
It's time we get ourselves an altar. So get our best tinkerers around. Start building some kind of nice-looking shrine to the ancestors. Once that's done, we'll coronate, and that will be the government, and then we will go and kill some motherfucking devils. Being devils.
Well then. All right. So if you guys want to, you can have a short public ceremony where you explain to everyone that Undin has a faint but credible claim to nobility, and that pending a determination of what happened to King Eurus, he is at least for now the regent.
John, I'm going to be walking amongst the crowd, keeping an ear out if there's any grumbling.
Okay, let's see. No, this is going over pretty well. There's some people that say, oh, that guy, I drank with him 2 weeks ago. Like he's not the king. But as the murmur spreads and it gets explained to everyone, this isn't that hard to understand. And with the show of approval that Alban puts out in the coronation ceremony, people warm to it pretty quickly.
Not have to crack any skulls. Good.
No, there's no revolt. The miners get set into order by now Regent Undin, and they start clearing out the way to the west with the use of the donkey and the cart, edging toward habitable space. But the inside is habitable already. The mushroom farm is getting off to the races, and people are sleeping on bedrolls. They're more camping inside than they are actually occupying the place as it was intended.
John,
But it works.
searching the histories very carefully, and like I'm going to read the stories again and again and again. This place was simply abandoned for greener pastures. I don't see any evidence that the dwarves here fled the place. Not like they dug too deep and too greedily and something came up, or
No, there's nothing. There's none of that in the histories.
okay.
It is agreed upon between multiple independent, unrelated sources that they just got too big for it. They sent out scouting parties. They found the site that eventually became the Iron Mountain, and then that's where everyone was until the demons blew up.
Okay. I just want to be sure in uncovering these. We're not about to open up something that's been buried for a reason.
Oh, we are, just not here.
Oh, right.
Later at the other place.
Exactly.
Yeah, you have the Iron Mountain and you have Mountain 78, both of which, one of which is an active demon wound, and the other of which something horrible must have happened at. But this one is the one that that you looked at the books ahead of time in the immediate aftermath, and it was like, well, okay, it's kind of small, but we could go there, and it's not going to send us straight to the Nine Hells.
Right.
Well, we have less than 40 people, so I don't think size is currently an issue.
No, not in that regard. It's kind of an issue in the opposite regard.
Yeah, size is a problem in that this settlement, if it doesn't start growing, people are going to be like,
Yeah.
there's
Who wants to go
nothing
to
for
town?
me here.
Let's go
So
with
There's definitely a dwarven slum in Ulm. You don't know how many of
Yeah.
them are just going to pick up and tromp up the mountain with you, but
how many of them in the slum are we going to want to come with us? I mean,
Well, we'll
that could be
never
the opposite
know.
problem.
beggars
Well,
can't be choosers, but then again, I mean, do we want the dwarven equivalent of meth heads coming into our colony?
yeah, who else is going to
Also
meth
that.
chef? I don't know how to cook meth.
Meth, they're working really hard. I mean,
I was going to say, you want
hyped
somebody who
up.
can farm like 23 and a half hours a day.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
probably need dwarven.
And if they're
When they drop their fertilizer.
and they don't
So,
need
yeah.
teeth to eat mushrooms, so I don't see the problem. We just got to give them scratch breaks, and we're good to go.
There
I
is
think-
no dwarf meth in Ironblood Dwarves. Do not put meth in your D&D games. Okay, back.
I think Narnan might already be on meth. That's a
Uh,
crazy freaking.
Narnan was shockingly unafraid of having a giant magic warhammer brandished in his face.
Still upset about his wife.
Yeah, Bran got the impression that he was in like, okay, I fear nothing anymore, and because of that, I'm completely free and I'm impossible to scare.
Yeah, he's in zero shit mode, so
Yep,
we need
big
to
time.
direct that energy. All right, well,
Go to
so
town.
we have, well, okay, let's revisit this. Urban meth heads.
okay, we
Do
have.
we know they're dwarven methods?
Okay, do we want dwarven trailer trash?
Okay, John, I've traveled around
You've definitely been to Ulm. Ulm is a
Okay.
regional capital.
in Ulm. All right, is there something
How
that falls
bad is
between the dwarven meth heads and those that have done too well and aren't likely to show any interest in moving? Is there some kind of a laborer class that
Yes.
would probably want their dignity and racial identity back, but is not they're not doing hand jobs for crack?
Yes. Ulm, the demi-human neighborhoods of Ulm are not exclusively like barren, cutthroat, don't go out after 8:01 a.m. wastelands. They're more like industrial age ethnic enclaves. There is localized wealth. There are skilled tradespeople. On the whole, they're not taking over the president's office. They're not really admitted to the highest tiers of the nobility's parties. But
They wouldn't be here either. Which brings us to a question of, okay, so we find a group that we are desirous to bring with us. What do they get out of it?
Well,
that's the question. Some of them might not want to come, some of them might.
So, John, here's the angle I'm thinking, and you tell me, yes, this would work, no, this wouldn't, or I wouldn't even know enough to know if this would work. All right, so if we compare this, you said I've been there, so if we compare this to the ethnic enclaves in the industrial age, then I'm picturing some kind of working class dwarven neighborhood that's probably run by political and probably criminal bosses.
More the criminal.
Okay.
You know that there are definitely thieves guilds that thrive in these enclaves because there's just enough talent and just enough wealth to have something worth extorting. And the law enforcement and political apparatuses of the central government are primitive enough such that when Don Giovanni pays off the Irish cops, business continues as usual.
Okay, thought two is that to announce to the world that we have in our control, and barely in our control, a cold iron vein that may have ancient dwarven treasures even deeper is probably a bad idea.
Why would we do that?
Well, but that because we going to sell it, right? We have. So here's my thought: we launder the sale. All right. So here's my strategy. I mean, see how this actually plays out. But my strategy is: we go to Ulm, We find one of these neighborhoods, we cut a deal with one of the local dwarven bosses that makes keeping our existence a secret a benefit to him, which is we sell the cold iron to him a little bit below market value, but still for a pretty penny. In return, he gives us laborers and keeps the location of his source a secret.
Dan, roll me bardic knowledge.
Uh,
I'm going to see if you
what is
know.
standard for that?
I think it's intelligence or wisdom modified by a d20, or the other way around.
I think it's
Just roll me a d20.
Sure. All right, D20 roll, no modifier.
I'll add what the bar. Okay. You have actually interacted at the fringes of a Dwarven Thieves Guild before. You know there's a dwarf named Grodin who operates in a certain district of that's full of middle and working class and straight up poor to dwarves and a small smattering of other non-dwarven demi-humans and a couple of humans. Grodin has a reputation as a cultured guy, as a long horizon strategic thinker. You think that a deal like this would potentially be possible. He's still a smuggler, he's still a murderer, he still launders stolen goods, blah, blah, blah. But you're describing this plan and the gears are turning and you're thinking, where have I met this guy before?
Okay.
And you actually can come up with a name.
All right, so I lay out this plan, and I'd explain to you guys this Grodin guy. I say, I think it would behoove us to accept only minimal help from him in terms of manpower, because otherwise we would be creating a faction under our own noses. But get a half dozen workers from him, make our sales through him. He'll protect our location, and in return, give us an easy market for these goods, help us build the capital, and maybe over time start attracting other collapsed tribes or clans, individuals that don't have ties directly to Grodin, to build us more multi.
He's going to get his hooks in us, and we're going to have to kill him.
Probably
Not that I'm saying it's a bad
Partnering
plan,
with
and we
evil.
shouldn't do it. This trail is us killing him.
Bran, there's a truth of all societies, not just Dwarven, though perhaps it is uniquely true among Dwarven ones, which is the fact that the one currency everyone understands is power. And you're absolutely right. He's going to have an angle. He's going to try to get his hooks into us, and we are probably going to kill him. And he's not a good person. I don't object to that. But in the immediate term, he might be useful to us. It's an option. I mean, even if we don't go with Grodin, simply checking out what kind of marketplace we can find for these goods in Ulm that would be safe for us. I mean, look, it's cold iron. Anyone we show this to, Dwarven worked cold iron that's being chipped out with some kind of artifact of a lesser worm, this is going to draw attention we don't want.
I tell you what, I have an alternative plan. We mine the iron, pull out the cold iron. A secret, we stockpile it and guard it and don't sell it to anyone. Turn into ingots, take a little bit of what we need, we sell the rest on the open market. When we start selling, saying, hey, dwarves, this iron we're selling, we got so much of it, and look at all this money we're making. Now, it's not huge money, it's just iron. Start advertising that we need dwarves. We start getting more dwarves, we start getting more miners, we keep stockpiling the cold iron. Craftsmen, we start taking that cold iron and we start crafting it into things. And we either use those things or we sell them for amounts of wealth.
Actually, what you have in mind is not a bad idea, because anyone that comes out to mine iron is doing so at a much lesser profit. Lesser profit, then they're probably more motivated by the sense of labor and dignity of work than they are by turning a quick buck. We get the craftsmen out here, we build the goods, we don't label them, or maybe we even falsely label them to confuse where the source is. Label them with a variety of craftsman marks that aren't even from anyone around here. Confuse the source. Find ways to sell it.
Consider that we got driven out by, what, fiends?
Beans.
Good for that? I'm pretty sure it is. We
Yeah.
might need it in the future. I don't want to sell it all to some thief
But we
guild.
keep some bolts and some arrows and some swords and some.
No, we
All
keep it
that.
all.
I like to stockpile it. That sounds like a good idea.
We keep all of it. We're going to also pull out gems, stones. Now, normally, we would love to keep those, adorn ourselves with them. We sell those. But we go to the market in Ulm, we pull out some of this iron, and we go there and we start selling. Start asking, where did you get this iron from? Hey, we started up a mine colony. Who wants to join us?
It's a bunch of dwarves with iron. Other dwarves might be curious. Humans won't think anything of it. Of course, dwarves have iron.
All the better.
I like the slow approach. Anything.
I like Plan B.
Yeah, I like slow, gradual. Let's give people a. Let's give everyone a taste. Let's stay low key. Build with the notoriety. Let's build our cave with the notoriety. If we kick the door to the tech rules the city and say, "Hey, we've got cold iron," they're gonna be like, "Oh, hey, that's our cold iron now." If we go to the if we go to the mob boss and say, "Hey, help us furrow this cold iron into the city," he'll be like, "Hey, it's my cold iron now." That we'll have a king who's pissed off because we didn't tell him about the cold iron, and we essentially smuggled the goods into his city, and we're trying to be a code nation who is now smuggling things into their whatever for.
And what I would like to do too is while we get these miners and we start stockpiling our cold iron and we start fortifying Dwarfhold and expanding, we go off and we go to the other settlement, the Lost One. 2 reasons. The selfish reason, we need to start making a name in history for ourselves. We need to start making an epic tale that will attract more dwarves to this. We need to start making heroes. Second, if there's nothing left there and it's ruins, we need to find the advanced equipment tools we need to start working the cold iron.
John, is Ulm the closest anything? Like, is there a settlement, a dwarven settlement, anything closer to Ulm?
There are halfling and human farming towns sprinkled throughout the countryside. There are no other dwarf holds for hundreds and hundreds of miles, nor large human cities.
We could even maybe sell some of the ore on like a trade route, just like, hey, just passing by with my cart of this cold iron rock. I don't know much about it, but maybe you trade me a pile of so and so, and
we have both a legend and a fortune we're sitting on that we're not using.
We don't have enough people to properly utilize it yet.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. We do have enough people. Do you have any idea, both culturally and monetarily, what the corpse of that dragon is worth?
The one I pissed on?
The baby worm. Mm-hmm.
call it whatever you want, and you are correct about its age. I recognize this was not some planet-eating creature of
All mounted over the cave
Herald
wall.
of the
We'll
Inn.
use it when we need it, but we don't
It's
need to advertise because we don't have proper living quarters yet. We don't have mining set up. We don't have anything ready for the sort of influx you're looking for. Absolutely, we need to take a trophy.
well, if we're
Also,
looking to burn time to get this place ready for more people, then I'll go back to my original suggestion, which is perhaps we need to instead go visit Mountain 78.
I think we can trust everyone to run things. I think Mountain 78 is a fine suggestion. It'll give us a potential kick that we need. You know, they can at least start mining everything, stockpiling it if they can, and then if they can find someone maybe to sell a little bit to just to get by, then great. They can sustain off what they have.
Kabak looks around and says, well, it seems like you have two plans, either of which would help, but only one of which you can actually do right now. You can poke around Mountain 78, see what happened, or you can go down to Ulm. Maybe you just look for craftsmen. Maybe you try to make contact with the Thief Guild. Maybe you don't. Maybe you're just looking for a couple dozen or dwarves with hammer swinging arms and need of a job. I'll look around here regardless of what you choose.
How far is Mountain
Unless, of course,
78?
you insist on bringing me. Mountain 78 is also about a month away by foot, much faster. You can cross the territory with horses and such if you have them. There are no easily navigable rivers like there are to get to Ulm. Mountain 78 is not on a natural trade and habitation route. Ulm is.
Month out, week there, month back. By the time we get back, the rooms, solely some of the higher rooms of this mountain ought to be cleared out.
In 2 months, Bran, you're sure that the western debris will be cleared out, unless they get attacked by 19 dragons or something.
Right. Handle, but 19 is that's just one dragon too many.
That's the breaking point.
Whatever. As long as we do something, just sitting here is going to be the problem, not which plan we follow.
Kabak says, well, there's no nobles among you, so I guess you have to vote on it.
Vote? What are you, a republic? Oh my god. Oh,
I'm the old man, Bran. I can tell you what to do. You and Alban will do it. I don't know about the elf and the human.
Oh, well, they're all liberated.
And
I could live. What's that? He blushes furiously. And he says, well, if you made me vote, it seems like selling some iron and getting some more hands is the safer plan than going back to that Doom Mountain. But I've seen what you all can handle. And who knows if the stories are true anyway. I'm staying here.
Well,
I agree with Kavik. We need the strong hands
first.
and we need the miners. On the other hand, we also need legend, valor, and stories of daring do.
You just killed a dragon, Bran.
I didn't kill anything.
Pat
stood
yourself on the
there and
back
got
a little bit.
cold.
No, looking back, he really didn't. That was
It's true. He missed, and he stood there, and he got cold.
Yeah,
his counter.
but he took breath weapons straight to the face at level 2 and didn't
Mhm.
die.
Didn't die.
That's a valuable service for the party.
Brand's footnoted history. It's like History of the Ironblood Dwarves, Volume 37, footnote 432. Some dude Brand did not die.
Hey, the
It's a
determining
dragon.
factor in a super low level dragon combat is how many people did the breath kill, and when did the dragon win initiative to do it?
John,
The answer this time was 0.
in the appendix of Dwarven history I've been keeping that Albin and Havoc have been sealing off on, I have his name listed as Bran Frozenbeard.
Nice.
He's
All right.
not ready.
Yeah, it's not like you
Dragon.
didn't die to type 2 diabetes. You didn't die to.
Or the liver or something. I mean, something noble.
No, dwarves get poison resistance
That's
advantage.
true.
They don't get cirrhosis. They might get beatus, though. Who knows?
Yeah, I might get the beat it.
Wilfred Brimley's kind of a dwarf, but he's huge. Look at his mustache.
If Shadowrun was a thing, I think Wilfred would totally have been a dwarf.
I don't know, man.
Oh, he's a big guy, or was a big guy.
I think he could have. No, he's still alive. He might have been goblinized. He wakes up one day, he's 15 years old, and suddenly he's a troll. Kabak looks around. All right. Bran wants to go to Ulm. Edwin, sounds like you want to go to 78. Correct?
Yes.
Elf Girl, what do you want?
Town. Let's go town.
Patriarch?
Oh, I'm
Ridiculously
the.
flourished bow. I'm the tiebreaker if you tie it.
Politicking and merchanting is boring. Let's go kill
Isn't it?
something.
Yeah, that's. No. We
If
will
you
go.
run against the Thief Guild, you might get that chance in the city.
Let us.
Look,
We
going
need-
going to the mountain is more fun, but going to town is more practical for our current needs.
George, I just made you the Pope. There's no more George stammering until people decide on something.
The dwarf in me likes
I
the
will-
frosting.
I will
No.
sit here for 2 hours and listen to you say,
Dwarf likes the frosting.
We will go to Ohm. We will begin the brokering very quietly as per Plan B. We will stay away from the underground. We will stay away from the king or duke or duchess or whatever the heck god-forsaken or ancestor-forsaken.
And we're not mentioning the cold iron, right? We're going to stockpile that. Keep it. We're doing
We
the long play.
can keep that quiet too. We just want people. We
Right.
want an influx of. We want information. Knows what the hell is going on with the land. Maybe it was just us and it's a fluke and it'll never turn its head again. And the fiends are happy to just sack a dwarf fortress and call it a century.
no.
But yeah, that's probably
Come on,
not.
John! Jesus, come on!
Chad, if you go to
Um,
DenCon next year, I'll allow you to ask one true question of the campaign I'm running. I allowed this at the Sakai Den in real life. That goes for you too, Dan.
All right, we're going to
Having pants.
No. Kabek's pants are actually ritual scars that he had made, bound up with his hair. They look like pants, but they're not.
If you look real closely, he'll slap you because your face is getting too close.
Yes.
All right.
If you touch his legs, you'll get yak lice.
That sounds like we're going to Ulm.
And we're going to get some
strong.
delousing powder for Kavik.
Or just have him stand in the snow for a while.
No, these are yak lice, man. They like the snow.
All right. So, how about we set out a first light tomorrow?
You boys and
Yeah.
girls have fun.
don't we vote on that? Why don't
Rest.
we vote on what we set out? With all
Okay.
this new democracy that we have.
Kavak pulls.
Sleep on the donkey, or I'll carry you.
Kavak pulls a stool off the back of the donkey cart. You have no
Ew.
recollection of anyone packing this. Sits on it. Opens up a little like mini barrel, like a Saint Bernard barrel, and starts drinking out of it with troll face shot JPEG smile on his face, and he burps
Of
beer.
course it is.
All right.
Dwarves, and he walks
Does
into the
anyone
crowd.
want to do anything this night in character?
Yes.
If
Yeah,
not,
Bran walks into
we'll
the
take a
crowd
5-minute
yelling-
break afterward, and then okay.
Yelling,
Dan, what do you
I
want
want
to
my alderman. Where's my alderman?
do? You don't get alderman.
While I'm leaving the meat behind, I'm taking my knife and that worm. I'm skinning it. I'm taking
Ew.
the major bones out of it.
We're
I
gonna
am.
do that.
Gross.
And all the sacks were emptying from like the farming supplies and stuff. I'm bagging up what I consider to be the valuable parts of this dragon: the
Okay.
skull, the teeth.
Give
the
me
claws,
give me
the-
a survival check to see how well you stripped
You
this
wanna do
thing,
that.
because this is definitely the first time
Probably.
you've stripped a dead dragon.
So
Probably
teeth and
not
bones is
well.
one thing, but all the muck that's a muck.
fucking outstandingly.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty darn good. You nick a couple of like the gland sacs that are all wet and stuff, but the bones and the scales come off perfectly.
I'm like, Juggernaut, I've been waiting for this my whole life.
Oh, my helmet.
My hell, I've had this since the 4th grade.
All right, Bran, anything on this night phase?
Got really angry because Edwin dumped out the pickle barrels, or he took all the pickles out of the pickle barrels so he could have the brine to preserve the meaty bits of the dragon. And he found this pile of pickles. He's like, "Who did this?"
The farmers, you and Narnan reach for the same pickle as they hit the floor, and he looks you dead in the eye. He doesn't even look down at the pickle that he's picking up, and he picks up the pickle while he's looking at you, and he starts eating it right in your face.
Oh no, I don't know. I totally will intimidate the crap out of him. I give him the stare, the death stare.
Oh, Simon is still afraid of you.
Oh
Oh,
my god! No! Oh no, how embarrassing.
Try and play tough, but you
Oh,
shed a
God,
tear for the
no,
pickles.
Yes!
Oh,
both-
wow.
the
Your
pickle.
fly was
You
down.
both glance at each other, and you're like, ah! And
I feel like what happened is their
Lurch backward.
hands touched and they got
yes.
They liked it. And
They had
let's
feelings that
never
they
discuss
weren't
this
like
again.
The first 6 notes of Careless Whisper started playing in the soundtrack to this game as their fingers brushed against one another, and they looked super uncomfortable. And now the pickle's just on the floor.
And it's like this whole metaphor thing, and neither one of them will acknowledge its
Yes.
presence.
There was no phallic imagery about this until just now, and now suddenly it hit both of them at the same time, and they're like, ugh.
Oh.
Alban, would you like to do anything in this night phase?
Do you
No,
like
I
to touch
say
the
a
pickle?
prayer to save the poor fiends that go against these dwarves that run from pickles.
Good. Anna, anything on this night phase?
I don't have to sleep as much, so I'm gonna spend some time scouting out around see if anything horrible is coming while we're sleeping.
Okay, roll me a d20.
Sure.
Oh my god, it's 19 dragons. No, there's nothing coming. You're very confident that nothing
11 dragons.
surprise you in this defensible position. And also your unfavored terrain. Okay. Everybody, we are going to take our 5-minute potty, re-beer, do whatever you want break. I think I'm going to have a banana. And then we will return for the last third to half of episode 3 as our adventurers travel southward toward the mighty city of Ulm.
And remember, Dan, keep the thing running.
Yep, I will. I'm just prepping our away message right now.
Excellent.
Dear diary, mood
Gonna
apathetic.
be about pickles.
Dear diary, I'm never touching a pickle again in my life.
AIM
Why
instant
can't I-
messenger away message is a link
Why
to
can't I
Breaking
quit
Benjamin
pickles?
lyrics. There's no YouTube video because there's no YouTube yet.
Intimidate pickle. What? You run in terror from the pickle.
Alright, I'll be right back.
Never gonna dance again. I'm building the soundtrack to this campaign, and that is on it now.
Excellent.
All right, I'm gonna pee.
Peruse pickle pictures. George, do you like pickles? Oh, he doesn't have his headset on. That's a picture of kimchi. That's not a pickle. Dawn, do you want pickle socks? No, no pickle socks. Okay.
What now?
I was asking Dawn if she wanted pickle socks.
Oh,
Banana socks. She does say that she wanted banana socks. And John is eating a banana, too. So,
look at this.
I know, man. I think it's fate. I gotta look up banana socks.
So I have them on my wish list.
And, socks. Cool banana socks is the listing on Amazon. That is not. Oh, actually, those are kind of cool. Banana socks have little like sunglasses,
Those are the ones on my wish list.
but they've got sunglasses. Come on now, they're cool, man. They're cool banana
Yeah,
socks.
sunglasses are cruise control to cool.
Let's judge Dawn here. Let's see her banana socks.
Everyone in Twitch chat, please
Yes.
judge Dawn now.
Let's see here.
Oh, their competitor is called Sock It To Me. That's just better.
If we're in Judge Dawn's socks,
Donuts.
Chad needs to refresh his camera.
Yeah, it's not so.
Well, no, I'm doing links. Hold on. All right. No, I found your banana socks.
Bigfoot Sock Company.
So the first one
Oh, wait,
is
that'd screw this up.
the cool socks. Those are the socks that Dawn picked out. Which one is cooler?
I have heart socks that I habitually wear to work, and I will continue to.
These are Dawn's banana socks.
Oh, the ones with the sunglasses are far cooler.
John says the one with the sunglasses are far cooler. John, you gotta. So those are the ones.
I'm used to it.
Those are the cool banana socks. And then the second one is the one on Dawn's wish list.
So this kind of bluish colored one.
Yes.
Okay. I've been sharing that with the stream since that's important information.
Oh, yes. I mean, those are nice socks. Don't get me wrong; those are nice banana socks. But the bananas with sunglasses are a lot cooler, in my humble opinion.
That's a fact.
Undeniable fact. But she did counter though with that they're not cute. The other ones are cute.
But do you look for cute in your banana sock shopping or cool?
I know. Well, that's a good question.
I think you look for cool.
Yeah, Dawn, do you go for cool or cute in your banana sock
speaking
shopping?
of cute versus cool,
Pair of goat socks. I bought those because they were super
John,
soft.
what are you doing
Yes,
with the pineapple shirt?
More important.
Dude, I wore it at Gen Con. I'm not going to stop. I had this symbol before they did. This is mine. This means nothing.
Oh,
I have a
Who else
picture
has a
of
Who else has a
me
pineapple?
wearing it. No, okay. So George, here's the story. Is this stream on?
yes.
Okay, never. I'm not telling the story.
I'll tell the story minus a whole lot of details.
The story is me and John wore Hawaiian shirts, and we told the what is the front desk lady? We told her we're coming out here tomorrow in Hawaiian shirts. She's like, I will be here tomorrow, and I will see you in your Hawaiian shirts. And I guess she thought maybe we were being cute or something.
Oh no.
Because we marched out at the crack of 10.
Crack of 10.
10.
It's like Homer
It's on
Simpson.
like
I have to
noon.
work to the late hours of the afternoon.
Yes. Getting George
Crack of
moving in
11.
the morning is a matter of repeated charisma checks, followed by attack rolls if necessary.
All right, so the story, I'm going to drop a lot of detail here, but the story is that apparently to display a pineapple, okay, so like to wear a pineapple shirt.
Oh, it's like one of those signals.
Yeah, it means you're in an open
A
relationship. Or you're a
community.
swinger.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's a whole lot of information I'm leaving out there. But so the question came up with John, because John, when he found this out, was like, "Oh crap, I've got this pineapple shirt."
Yeah, one of my favorite shirts, one of my most often complimented. They're like, I'm not giving it back. This is mine. They can try to claim this symbol, but I'm still gonna wear my pineapple.
Now you
shirt,
know why I
even though
won't give Gnarl back to the furries.
That's right.
Because he is a furry. You're a furry.
He's your fursona. Like, it's okay. There's nothing.
There's nothing to give back. He's already there.
That's what he is.
I thought my Hawaiian shirt was hibiscus flower, but
Totally
apparently it's
not.
parakeets or something.
Yeah, no, it's not even close to being hibiscus. Trista didn't realize immediately what was going on. So I texted George's wife a picture of us at the yard house drinking with our Aloha shirts on. And her first response was like, ha ha hi. And then 2 minutes later, she's like, oh God, the Hawaiian shirts. And I was like, yes, we did it. We annoyed Trista. It's our golden life.
Yep. And then we annoyed her further with a wonderful hat purchase. That's
Oh, yes.
The
Brilliant.
hat, George.
That hat
Why
was
aren't
a
you wearing
bargain.
that hat right now?
Yeah, you're the Admiral of the Queen's Navy. Put the hat on.
very okay. I mean, I keep it right here. It's not hard to.
Arms reach.
So,
It's not hard
The
to.
leather accessories booth.
John, your
Was
mic's a
selling
little bit
outrageous.
quiet. I don't know if it's something you can do to amp, but
How about now?
that's about the same.
Let me see. How about now? By the same.
Yeah, actually, it's a little better. I didn't know if maybe one of the apps had taken it
Yeah,
down.
I turned Careless Whisper on.
Oh.
Maybe having audio might have auto muted my other channels of audio, but I turned it off. Okay, so the stream is still live, correct?
Yeah. I never
So we
killed
don't
it.
have to reintroduce anything.
Nope.
Okay, hooray! Welcome back, people who never left, and also I never left. Um, all right, dwarves and dwarf associates. You guys can tromp down to the city of Ulm either by using the waterways, although you don't have a boat. Perhaps you could create or loan one off, or you could just go overland. It's straight on the trade routes. The trade routes are there because it's there. They're not always the safest places in the world in this pseudo medieval setting, but they're quick.
We're going overland because we have a donkey with the cart, and I'm not pulling an Oregon Trail with this.
What is the single most dangerous route we could take?
The single most dangerous route you could take would be to deliberately go off the roads, even though they're the straightest way, and go through wild, untamed overland, uh, which would be almost impossible for your donkey and cart to navigate and probably be infested with monsters.
Let's do
It's
that.
D&D. Let's get down to it.
It's D&D. All right, so you guys are taking the land route.
I
Yes.
think.
We can follow the river bank, or I don't know, whatever's, or the road, or whatever the hell's easiest.
Yeah, you can just follow the riverbank. On and down you go. Doop-dee-doop-dee-doo. Uh-oh. What's this? Ooh. Ooh.
Are you rolling off a random encounter chart?
Never gonna dance again. Get 2 feet, I got no rhythm. Maybe.
John, have you seen the movie Keanu? The Key and Peele movie?
No, I have not.
You need to.
I've heard good things.
George Michael is a central figure of the movie,
Oh my gosh, I need to see it.
and them trying to sell a bunch of like hardcore gangsters on how George Michael is like hardcore 100% street is hilarious. And
That's amazing.
at the very end, someone asks one of them like, "So he's a black guy, right?" You need to, if you've not seen Key and Peele and you're a George Michael fan, excuse me, Keanu. If you've not seen Keanu and you're a George Michael fan, you need to watch that movie.
I don't know that I would say I'm a fan, but I'm an appreciator. There's something timeless about that one particular song.
It's just, I don't know.
Is George Michael one of the guys that American Psycho did like a 20-page rant on?
Maybe in the novel. I
American Psycho.
don't think there was one in the film, but he's definitely period appropriate.
I think he did Billy Joel and he did Whitney.
He definitely did
Houston.
Huey Lewis.
Not both. He did Huey Lewis. I think he did Whitney Houston.
Well, that problem kind of solved itself, so.
Oh. All right. You guys are stumbling down the trade route, making pretty good time. You're about halfway there to Ulm. When it's time for you to roll a perception check. Actually, there's passive perception in this game. It's time for me to roll a stealth check.
Come on,
You
Elf.
have to beat my and you. I have a
Do we
15.
have advantage?
No, I have a.
No.
Okay.
I have a 13 passive.
Does my perception have to be a below your roll, John?
I'm doing some fuzzy math here. Oh man, what a sneaky guy. Okay. Let's see how bad they really are. Oh my god, they're so bad. Okay. So there's a 2-layer ambush here. Neither of them are even close to actually hidden. Up near the road, down in a ditch, there is a 7-foot-tall, burly humanoid thing. Looks like about halfway between a human and the even larger burly humanoid thing that's hiding, quote unquote, behind a tree a little bit farther behind him, which you definitely recognize as an ogre. They are gazing on the road hungrily. They appear to be watching your
They
So
see
wait,
us.
how many ogres are we facing down?
You see one half ogre and one ogre.
Okay, I was gonna say, like, holy crap, like
Ogres
multiple
are
ogres
evil,
at
right?
level 2. I don't.
No, there's not multiple ogres at level 2.
Okay.
Ogres are evil.
Do they see us?
Thank you.
Excellent.
You're pretty sure they do.
I
Yes,
step out onto the road and I'm like, oh shit, guys, it's ogres. Should we run? And I start walking towards them.
All the It's a loud
Okay.
laugh from
Okay,
all.
roll. Everybody roll for initiative.
I get a loud laugh, at least from Albin, who immediately follows you towards the ogres. Are historically like massive enemies of dwarves, and sometimes, a lot of times, they like to eat
Oh,
dwarves.
yeah.
It was what, just Dex?
Uh,
Yeah, it's just Dex.
I think it's Dex plus your. It's Dex plus your class proficiency bonus.
Oh,
Your dex
so
modifier, yeah.
if it's plus your proficiency bonus, then
Like whatever your level is. Oh no, wait, hold on. How do they calculate it? It's dexterity plus something else because I definitely have another point in it. I don't know from what.
well then it's probably proficiency bonus because when it's
Oh,
this
I
one,
don't
if
know.
it's
Whatever. Well, there. Wow. Well,
doesn't matter for you.
yeah.
Hold
Get
on, I'll
back
look
to
up.
my needlepoint
You
project.
beat me. I got a 4. And I'm in front yelling at them.
Yeah, I was gonna do something to prep the situation there.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then
See,
you
that's
were teammates with Bran.
That's the problem with humans. You're all talk. Stories and
This wasn't
accounting
gonna
and
be
money
talk.
and
This was
power.
gonna be a damn like area of effect spell to make things a little easier.
Bran is an area of effect spell. He's like 4 feet tall of whirling rage that always misses.
So he's like
Yeah, but he draws a lot of fire.
Igor's
does.
incompetent illusion. It creates a completely plausible illusion of something utterly ineffectual.
It's just a Dex check.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It's like you face down the dragon, you cast a spell, and completely unbeatable, like no saving throw. 3 or 4 oak leaves blow by.
George, roll your Dex check. Oh, you
did.
did. All right, we got everybody here. Yes, we do. Okay. So Bran screams, "Oh shit, it's ogres!" and keeps walking as if nothing has changed.
God bless him.
From the direction of down the road, a javelin flies toward Bran out of the hands of the half ogre that's closer to the path. Bran, what is your hit or armor class?
My armor class is 21.
Oh my god. You got crit by the javelin! Oh!
God!
Oh,
It's like in my eye!
Hey, Bran.
Oh,
Oh shit, it's an ogre.
It's an ogre!
Fuck the
Alright, so
ogre!
the dice
There's a
damage is
javelin
doubled,
in
right?
my head!
Yeah, there super is. That's what you get for being all cocky about it.
Alright, so this is 2d6 times 2 plus 3. Here
Hey,
we
does
go.
that, what does that, Beethoven do? Is that a reroll?
Beethoven can compel a reroll for anything. You want a
I'm gonna
Beethoven getting crit?
shit right there.
Alright.
I do not want a javelin in my eye. So yes, I'm gonna compel that reroll.
Oh my god, I hope I get another crit. Oh! What'd you say your AC was?
21.
Okay, well, the javelin is on a dead arc straight for your eyeball, and then it just goes like doop and misses. Yes, exactly. Beethoven knocks it down with the force of beautiful music. Alban, it is your turn.
Can I get to melee this turn?
Oh yeah.
And I will do that, and I will bless myself and Bran.
All right. What's Bless do in fifth?
Everyone just adds a D4 to their attack stuff. Like if
Cool.
you attacks and saves get a D4 bonus.
That's pretty nice.
And by
Anna,
everyone, you mean
are up.
I'm gonna shoot one.
Do you want to shoot the ogre or the half ogre?
Which one's Albin at melee with?
The half ogre.
Or Hoger.
Okay, which one are you shooting?
The ogre.
Okay. Roll me your attack roll. Ogres have terrible armor class.
Just double check my sheet here. I rolled a 2.
Yeah.
Oh, you're so bad. Your arrow arcs toward his eyeball, and then
Ow.
you hear dun 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 dun, and it just streaks out of the way, and you miss. Apparently, the air is heavy with Beethoven tonight.
Apparently.
You know what Beethoven heard?
What's that?
Nothing.
Oh, oh, poor Beethoven. Oh,
Maybe a slight ringing.
Aw.
Mop. Mop.
he sees the ogre screams and runs into the melee with a huge club, totally unhewn, uncrafted, just a link of wood, looking like a tree. He tries to kill George with it,
All
or
right.
rather, Albin.
I accept him as my opponent.
What's your armor class, Albin?
I have a 20.
Oh, do you? Well, watch this. Oh, I hit
That'll do
you.
it.
I hit you on 21. No AC bonus for Bless or anything like that?
Wow.
Okay. Well, take this. Oh, you take
Goodness.
17
Oh.
damage.
So bad. I'm standing, but it hurts.
Whack! The ogre tree comes down dead into the center of George's chest armor. It hurts so bad. All right, Edwin, you're up.
You don't say. All right, so I look between the ogres, drawing dark symbols in the air and cursing them in a demonic tongue. Both of them need to make a charisma save at a target of 13.
Charisma
What are
save.
you casting?
Bane.
This is the ogre.
You merely arrived on this road. We were born of it.
Okay, guy who talks to a crab. The ogre fails, the half ogre succeeds. What does
Okay.
Bane do?
The ogre from this point forward, whenever he makes an attack roll or saving throw, he must roll a d4 and subtract it from his roll.
Nice.
It's like reverse blast.
Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
Oh.
That's what I was
Balance.
trying to open with before somebody's like, "Oh, gee."
Oh!
Yeah, you want to open with a useful spell, but I open with cool, hard dialogue.
All right.
You opened with getting critted.
I
You know,
wasn't that
I
far
would
behind.
actually say I was not the one who suffered from that. So,
That's true. All right, Brand, it is your turn. We are at the end of the initiative order, and you're 4.
all right. Which one is the one that nearly took my cousin's head off?
The full-size ogre came down and almost like put a donut hole in the middle of Albin's body with his tree trunk.
And he's
okay. So
he's
I'm all
now cursed.
pissed
too,
now. So I'm going to attack him. So I get to roll a d4 and then add that to my attack roll?
Yep.
Yay. All right, here goes. 7, and I only roll 13.
Well, you still hit because his armor class is garbage.
Yay!
So give me damage. He's wearing a loincloth and boots.
I hope we're not fighting him in the wind.
You are. It's
So,
horrifying.
I commit suicide.
8 plus. Bam.
Oh, nice. And what weapon are you using?
Hammer +1.
All right. The magical dwarven hammer strikes this ogre straight into the gut, just north of the old bullseye, if you will, but it still hurts him a lot. And his fat ripples outward as you hear a sort of crunch underneath multiple layers of grotesque blubber tissue. And he goes, "Ugh!" And then his half-ogre
Actually,
comrade.
John, hold on. I am going to use my action surge, and I'm going to take an extra attack, and I'm going to attack this son of a bitch again.
Okay, what's an action surge?
Is at level 2, action surge. Use an extra action to take a turn. Must take a short rest before using again.
Is it like a level 2 fighter ability thing?
Yeah, he just gets to basically act again as it's a fighter.
Cool. All right, beat him.
Okay, so 4 for the bless is 2.
Oh, I
so
got a 2 this time. All right, now you hit him on a
Going up
9.
more. 7, 8, 20. Bam!
Nice. All right, give me
I
damage.
think you got him.
All right. So, going to be D8 plus. And
Long.
It was still a noble hit. You follow up in the same place on his gut, and it kind of grazes off a little this time, but it does a lot of damage. I mean, 6 damage can kill somebody.
often furious and angry.
All right, the half ogre turns around with his crude battle axe and chops at you, Bran, having seen you attack with lightning speed and deadly accuracy.
Aww.
But at the speed you're moving, you're just too fast to track for his slow, obviously untrained fighting style, and you weave among his blows almost effortlessly. Albin.
I close my eyes and I touch myself.
All right, roll your d8.
If Bran sees a pickle, he's just walking away.
It's d8 plus
I'm
1.
gonna use a low grade heal that lets me still attack.
Ooh.
Okay, so close up and then I throw some warhammer at an ogre.
Going for the full ogre. Nice, that will hit it. Give me damage, please. Boop. All right, you hit him straight on the kneecap, and it goes bonk, and he's like, ah. Thousands of years of dwarf rage against ogres comes boiling out. All right, Anna, you're up.
I'm gonna shoot him again because, as far as I can tell, firing into melee isn't a thing anymore.
Not in 5. Do what you want. That'll hit him. Give me damage, please. Oh, baby, a triple. Okay. Your arrow hits him right above where Bran's double warhammer gut shot hits, and he staggers, and this gout of horrible black blood starts opening out from the puncture wound.
Black blood of the earth? In oil? The earth.
That's right. He's actually a gas elemental. And you guys will be going. No. All right. Now it's his turn, though, and he's going to try to kill Bran because Bran is apparently
It's
a magic dwarf who could.
minus D4 on his attack.
Oh, I know. I'll take his raw roll first.
Whoa.
Oh. 22. I think that hits you, doesn't it, Brano?
Because I got 21.
My gird.
A tree, is it?
He's essentially hitting you with a tree. He's hitting you with a club that's like half the length
Like a
of a
tree.
tree and about as
Hitting you
thick.
with
Yeah.
about tree fitty.
About tree fitting. He brings it down straight onto your helmet, and you can hear it and then kind of feel it distantly a woozy second later. Oh God, the pain.
Still on my short little feet. Oh, it hurt.
All right, Edwin, your turn.
Okay, I am whispering to the full ogre, suffer and die. He must make a charisma save, target of 13, he loses a d4 on the roll. So it's d20 minus d4, or whatever, target of 13.
He fails handily.
Okay, three things happen. First of all, he takes 14 points of damage.
Nice, he is still alive.
Okay, second
Goodness.
thing. He immediately turns and flees as a reaction action, and I just checked the rules. Chad gets a part. Anyone in melee with him, which I believe is Bran, maybe Alban, gets a swing at him.
All right, swing at him, boys.
Oh, I'll swing at him. And I still got that blessed thing going on, right?
Oh
Yep.
yeah, give you plus 1d4.
Your attacks.
Okay.
I don't think I'll need it that time.
Yeah, George, you hit him, and so do you, Chad.
I don't think Roll20's RNG is.
It is so biased.
It does seem to be
Everything is a 1 or a maximum.
Yeah, it does seem to be very far off to one extreme or the other.
This is malarkey. Okay, both give me damage. Okay, Alban and Bran both hit the ogre as he attempts to turn tail and flee. They
Oh.
both hit the back of an opposite leg, and he just crumbles to the ground. He's dead before he hits the dirt.
Doing three of us, we just did 30 points of damage.
Yeah.
I tell you, man, if there's one thing I can take away, I realize we're still only second level, but holy shit, have they fixed bards?
Yeah, that bard direct damage plus save or suck spell is ridiculously powerful, like stupid powerful. Okay, Bran, it's your turn.
Oh, all right. So the
The
main guy was
ogre's
fighting?
down.
The ogre was
big
down.
one's
The
dead.
full-size ogre is dead. The half ogre is at melee with you and George with an axe.
All right. I will attempt to murderate him.
Murdering.
I don't look at this enough. Let's see. 6, 7.
Oh, you
My
died
last
because you
three
rolled.
rolls were ones.
This is so biased. This thing is
Wow.
ridiculous. We need to audit this
Wow.
algorithm. Yeah, let's get another RNG next time we play. This is dumb.
Yeah.
All right, you whiff horribly.
I'm sure there's a robot for Discord.
Discord, yeah, there are. There's several.
Yeah, I know there's one we use for Star Wars. I'm sure there's one for D&D, or just standard polyhedral dice in general.
He looks at the remaining four of you and his dead ogre comrade, and throws down his axe and starts running away as fast as he can. You guys get your parting shots. He's not making a tactical withdrawal. He's going flat out.
I already used my
So,
reaction to kill his friend.
oh, yeah, that's right, you did. You both already used your reactions. Okay, so he is running, and George, it's your turn. You could hit him with something in range, probably,
Yeah,
if
I
you
can
want to.
sacred flame him. He makes a reflex save. Oh, here, hang on. DC flex. Together. Or yeah.
All right, he fails thanks to the. Well, no, he's not baned, but you are blessed. So his DC is 15, you say? Do you get to add that
No.
D4? You don't? Okay,
No,
okay.
he has to be so he's fine.
Yeah, he
Sacred
made it.
Ancestor Dwarf Fire whizzes his loincloth and does nothing.
I gotta
Okay.
stop.
All right, Anna, you are up.
I'm gonna shoot at him.
Shoot her. Give me rolls.
Based on that loincloth, I'm gonna say that this is probably a dude.
Yeah, they're dudes. That will hit. All right, you shoot him in the back as he's fleeing, and he seizes up for a minute and then keeps running just an instant later. Ogre is dead. Edwin, you can see him running away.
I don't know that I'm going to do anything about this. Um, can I get a knowledge arcana or something rolled? Do I know what language these things speak?
You just give me a straight up int check.
Let me check. I think dense +3. Yes. Just curious, is it even something that I also speak or not?
Yeah, these things speak common,
Oh, they
unless
speak
they're
common.
cut off from culture, which this guy's clearly not, since he's on a trade route.
Okay. I scream, we have scouts ahead. Stop, Neil, and you won't be killed. In common.
I was hoping you were gonna say, and if you ever come back, we'll kill ya.
Can I get a
You never come back! We'll kill ya!
Do you want me to do like a persuasion check?
Do intimidate.
Intimidate, you say? Oh, that's my
Is that
one
a,
point left.
is that a skill?
Excuse me. Yes, it is.
Okay. Alright, so he has to make, what, a wisdom save against that? I'll give him a bonus, though, because he's terrified and running flat out. Oh boy.
Ooh, wow.
He does not
Wow.
even slow down. He's just whoosh.
I'm not
Got a
going to
hand
waste a
axe at him.
spell on something running away. That's
All right,
threat.
Bran, you can see him receding into the distance. You could take a
Ooh,
range
look.
attack.
And let's see. Is 5,
I'll be right
9.
back in a second.
Bam.
All right, what are you hitting him with?
Axe. I have 2 hand axes that I can throw. And that is 1d6 plus 3 slashing, if that matters.
All right, give me a damage, please. 8. All right, your hand axe slices into his back. It looks like it's going to stay embedded there and cost you a perfectly good hand axe, but then as he keeps running and trying to do a little serpentine, it falls out a second or two later. So you now have a ogre blood splashed hand axe in the middle of the road. Okay, it is his turn again. He's booking it. He's gone. And I'll give you one more shot at him because you're actually like a ranged weapon specialist with a long range weapon. But other than that, at this point, keeping up with him will require you to like actually run after him.
No,
Okay.
I'm not
And
running.
his final parting arrow falls short, and he just keeps booking. And he recedes into the tree line and is out of sight moments later.
Money on him.
Does the ogre have anything other than tree club and we're gonna?
He has tree club, loincloth. He actually does have a coin pouch, which looks ridiculously small on him because it's clearly like human sized. You surmise that he stole it or looted it or something. And there are 32 gold pieces inside.
I'm going to add it unless someone stops me. I'm adding it to the clan's kitty.
Stockpile. Keep on walking.
I go
Alright.
retrieve my hand axe.
Good idea.
Your hand axe is slick with the blood of the enemies of the dwarven people. Makes you
As
so
it
happy.
should be.
Oh, I will also pick it up because why not?
All right. I also been in any shape to cast some healing about because I have 4 hit points.
Oh, wine. Yeah, I can do it.
Hey, I can do it. I'm just asking because I can do it myself too. I've got
let me
second wind.
just do good berries instead, so you can save your heal.
Hey,
Okay.
Dual
if
emergency.
people want to rub their berries on me, I already got this pickle thing going on.
Actually,
It's been
Welcome to Goodberry, home of the Goodberry. Can I take your order?
We don't need to use any magic because we're not in combat, and an hour of short rest lets us spend any number of magical 5th edition healing
Anna's
dice.
gonna make good berries and then hold some out to Bran and be like, "These are berries. You eat them. They are food."
He's a dwarf.
No.
Not a
good
bard.
berries.
Well, he explained to me what rocks were earlier, so just
She's just taking the
Ah.
opportunity.
I'm in
to-
her world now. There's no ceiling on the sky. It's very scary for us.
this is made of food. You can eat it.
That does not look like food. There is no alcohol content in those. Or is there?
Will they last long enough to
No.
ferment?
Those are the great berries. These are just the good berries.
Okay, I eat some of these.
All right, how much HP do those restore?
One per berry, so you can have 4 of them. Is anyone else even injured?
Oh, I'm very injured.
You can have the rest. You get another 6.
Heal. Oh, okay. That's good.
10 hit points. FYI. But Grant's really tough. He
Don't
just got
have to eat for the rest of the day, unless you want to, like a fatty.
Is that a challenge?
Chat,
Are
how
you
many-
challenging to a good
Chat,
berry
how
off?
many hit
How
points
many
are you
good
still
berries can
down?
I stuff into my gob?
It's a statement
See
of
how
fact.
many good berries I can shove into my gob now.
How many hit points are you still down?
10.
I'm down 4. But here's the thing. First off, Chad, during any kind of short breather, can activate his troll blood and just start recovering life. And also, we all get troll blood where we can just heal during.
Second wind. So I do second wind, which is that, and I heal 11 points. Boom, I'm good.
Okay.
And now I need a short
Troll
rest.
blood, I told you. He's dusts himself off. It's like, you took a neck and it was bent weird. And you're like, what? No.
No, it's fine now.
You just worked
Yeah.
that out.
Yeah.
And so wash it down
what
with
is the
some,
definition of a short rest?
like
I think it's like
I'm
an
gonna-
hour.
I'll give you
Gonna,
the
like, you know,
exact definition of a short
Care or
rest.
jam about it. I'm just curious. I have several future abilities that are dependent upon a short rest.
It's not like second edition anymore, where staying in bed all day got you 3 hit points back.
Dude,
An
you remember
injured
in
high level.
second edition, it was, what is it, 1 hour per spell level to memorize?
Yeah, something like
So
that.
even by like 5th level, it took you like, I don't remember, like days to memorize your spells.
Fancy and casting, baby.
Chad, a short rest is 1 hour.
Completely.
Okay.
Short rest is a period of downtime at least 1 hour long, during which a character does nothing more strenuous than eating, drinking, reading, or tending wounds.
Okay.
Wagon.
I can hop in the back of the cart and kind of, or
Bran hops in the back of the cart, and the donkey shudders. But he keeps walking. Another couple of days, and you guys make it to the gates of Ulm. There is an atrociously long line as the inspectors on either end of the gateway slowly process people coming through the trade gate.
Yeah, shit. John, it's D&D. Is there some species of giant lizard that wanders around?
I mean, there are giant lizards.
Perfect.
There's none that are like walking the streets looking to buy a monocle or something, but
Well, no, I didn't mean that.
okay.
If that was the case, I'd be playing one. I meant more like as a monster.
Yes. Is that a prelude to a plan?
It's a prelude to a lie.
Okay.
If he's inspecting what we're bringing in, I'm not going to tell him I've got the body of a dragon.
Is
Oh,
that
right.
in the cart?
Yeah,
Yes.
the cart's got iron ingots and the butchered corpse of a dragon.
if someone inspects our cart and he says, "What the hell is that?" and we say it's the butchered corpse of a dragon, that's the most awesome thing we can say.
No, it's a terror because they're going to. No.
and then Bran leaps up on the cart, all drunk, waves his warhammer, and said, "And when we killed it, I just stood there and got cold."
And then Bran
Heroic.
cries.
He just cries and cries. His ancestors cry.
An hour passes, and like
John,
4 people are let through.
Is this normal for Ulm? Last time I was here, was this going on?
No, it actually wasn't.
Okay, I'm going to start kind of noodling up to the people ahead of us in line. Not trying to cut line, but just asking, like, hey, do you
You're
guys...
canoodling with people in the line? Hell
He's
yeah.
totally canoodling with people.
I'm watching.
But
I'm all for this. Let's see if this is a red letter day for the TSA before we.
But I'm trying
Humans
to
are
see
bold.
if they have any sense as to why this is going on. I mean, is there some kind of problem? Is there a quarantine? I'm just trying to get a sense from these people, like, hey, what's up with this? And
They're grumbling that the Lord Protector has changed out the customs officers recently, and it's full of newbies who want to make a good impression, and it's been bad for a couple of weeks.
all right. There's
A
no.
few minutes after that, you guys see a jolly-looking dwarf with a smaller cart than yours and a donkey and a couple of people who are obviously his assistants, humans actually, tromping up the side of the line, like parallel to it, and just casually walking past you, past everyone. He looks very proud of himself, and he's just walking toward the gate.
I take our cart and I fall in line right behind him.
I'm gonna also drift sideways and follow him, at least because I want to see how this is gonna go for him.
And John, I do have a stealth check, which I can use if you want me to. but I'm going to try and present myself as if I am not only leading one of his carts, but as if I'm one of his hired
We're with him.
guards.
You're super with him.
Yes, like
Okay, so are you like hiding, or
I'm just
He's
trying to stay in his blind
hiding.
spot. I don't. I want I'm not trying to hide from the guards, but
You're
I'm
just
trying.
trying to stay behind him.
Yeah, I don't want the dwarf to see that I'm there.
He's flying
okay?
casual.
Are you guys trying to take the donkey and cart with you in this effort?
Oh yeah.
We're not gonna
Okay.
abandon it.
We're just gonna cart casual.
Yeah, we're just gonna caravan along with him. I mean, he's a dwarf. They're
Really,
dwarves.
it's gonna be funny.
Dwarves.
They all
Alright.
look alike, right?
You slide in behind him with your donkey and cart, trying not to be noticed. And his two human guards glance behind them immediately at the sound of your donkey's clanking hooves and the wheels of your cart.
I nod to
Uh,
them and pat the vest of my coat as if there's a paper in there.
One of them says, "Show me," and looks at your coat vest.
Uh, hold on. I think we can actually make this work. Uh, okay, John. I first of all, as I'm kind of rummaging through my coat, I say, which one in particular? Go through enough of these towns, you get so many licenses from Ulm from its uh, feudal overs.
He laughs and says, "A letter of marque from Grodin, or else it's to the back of the line with you."
Letter of marque from Grodin, yes.
I I'm up by him. I'm on the car. I stand up and I'm leaning on my warhammer and I look right at him and I say, "Where's your fucking letter of marque?" And I'm gonna try and intimidate him.
I'm gonna keep
this is going
sorting.
well.
I'm not like.
Give me a roll, Chad. This will not be easy.
Turn the cart around. Let's go to Studio 54.
He reaches into his vest and pulls out a letter of marque and says, "Here, are you a damn customs inspector as well as the worst hidden donkey cart operator in the history of dwarfdom?"
Does he hand it to me?
No.
Okay, John.
He
Spell
puts it right back in his pocket.
spell of minor illusion. He can make a. It's either charisma or int check. I forget which. Hang on, let me. I can actually produce this.
He grabs it. There won't be anything there.
No,
But-
there will be. Unless he passes this check, he will think there is. Okay, he has to make an intelligence save at a target of 13. I hand him the
Oh.
paper. I've got a.
So it's a blank paper, but you've illusioned it to be whatever he's expecting.
Appropriate
Yes,
thing.
it basically says, whoever bears this has immediate passage into the city of Ulm, and it has what he fully believes to be
The right thing.
the seal on it, Grodin's seal on it.
Put it to us so we know what it is now.
Because you said I knew who Grodin was, so I mean,
Oh, you do? Yeah.
I
Okay.
make this as Grodin-y as I can in terms of the way
no,
it's
it's so
written.
Grody.
Yeah.
It is the most Grodin thing since the Beethoven movies. He yells out ahead and says, "Hey, got another one of Grodin's right behind us." And the dwarf cocks back, look at you guys, looks at Bran, looks at Alban, laughs merrily, and says, "Well, great! Bring them on in."
I kind
Okay.
of look back at Bran and say, "You didn't think someone this belligerent was a random traveler, did you?"
Yeah,
I've met a lot of dwarves in my day. How did you start working for them?
Passed through Ulm on my way to visit a clan diplomat out of Ordelin. Long story.
I tell you, I think Grodin gets a kick out of watching humans work for him.
Yeah, and unfortunately get born about fourth down, and working for Grodin's all that's left to do in the family.
Well, he pays on time. They say bad things about him, but I'm making more than the guard that's going to check these letters, and so are you. So let's get on with it.
Okay, I follow right behind him.
You follow right behind him. The dwarf at the head of their wagon party mutters something to the guard at the gate. There's a human also carrying a wagon at the front, and you kind of like cut him off. The guards are about to come address him, and then they just and talk to the dwarf that's at the head of the wagon in front of you. And he starts, "Oh man, what the crap is this?" Blah, blah, blah. Another one of the guards shuts him up, and all you can hear is just, "Yeah. Here it is, Bucko." And the customs guard looks at his real letter of marque and orders the rest of them to let you by without being further bothered. And he takes his cart into the gate. And as you're taking your cart into the gate, he looks at. Okay, here we go. This will be a coin toss because he's going to ask a dwarf, but which one is he going to ask? 1, 2, it's Bran. 3, 4, it's Alvin. Oh baby, he says Alvin. He's carelessly got his quill and his parchment, marking down things. All right, and what do you have in this cart? Bran? No. What did I say? I said 1, 2 is
Albin.
Alvin. All right, so
It's
Bran.
Alvin. Yeah.
All right, Alvin, what do you got?
We have
We're doomed.
spell components.
No!
Why?
What kind of spell components? His eyebrow cocks.
He's too good. I lean over to Edwin and I go, he's too good for this world.
No,
We
no,
have-
he's not.
Valuable bones and figures, relics on them.
He's joking. Look,
Undeclared valuables.
we have stocks. I show him the iron. We have samples of iron from a mine not too far from here, and we have the crappy provisions of some toughened beast we've been gnawing on the way here. I very quickly kind of
Yeah, I look at Edwin and I go, yeah, it tastes like pickles.
Dan, give me a diplomacy check. This will be for the Dragon Corpse.
Is there an actual diplomacy? I do want
There's
persuasion.
a persuasion. Yeah,
Okay,
persuasion.
that's fine.
I'll make him roll his bullshit detector. It's reasonably trained as a custom scribe. It's not that great.
Yeah, this is, however, what I'm trained to do.
Okay.
Wow.
He looks at you for a long, suspicious moment and says, You Groden people. Grain it is. And scrawl something in his parchment and then
You
wave
want
your
to keep
card
this
on
quicker
by.
in the future, talk to the humans, not the dwarves accompanying them. And as we
The
walk...
dwarves own all the carts that skip the line. Everybody knows that.
As we walk past him, I'm like, Alvin,
Albin grins stupidly.
What?
Yeah, it's all good.
can I ask you... you know I have the utmost respect for Dwarven culture, but we're in a human city. Can I ask you a very human question? What the fuck? We're walking past with iron and half-rotten meat. There are so many possible explanations. And not only do you tell him something that's a lie, but the lie you come up with is that we've got the components to blow up the city in hellfire?
Well, I didn't say the
You?
second part.
What do you think he's imagining?
I just said we.
He
I mean,
thinks we work for a dwarven underworld boss, and you say we're rolling in with spell components.
well, all I could think of was dragon corpse. There's a dragon corpse in our wagon, and I forgot
No,
what
there-
else
there-
we had.
There's a whole lot of iron, and there's a butchered corpse
Everything
of a
in my
dead
head.
reptile. It can
Anna's
be
gonna
whatever
be laughing.
It
Oh.
can be whatever reptile
Because-
you want it to be.
Head was there's a dragon in that cart. Dragon in the cart. Don't tell him it's a dragon.
And so you told him it was a dragon. Oh,
I've heard that people use dragon bits for magic, and That was my number 2. That which
It was definitely your number 2.
Well, I've got a number 2. Let's go to the end.
oh yeah. We haven't had any proper.
You guys head off. Hit your.
Alvin, I'm going to give you some advice, some unsolicited advice, because I know this is something dwarves are very good at. The next time anyone asks you a question and you need a moment to either think or let me take over, all I want you to do is focus right on your gut and let out a long, slow, uncomfortable, awkward, socially disruptive fart. And then I'll give the correct answer.
Or a belch.
burp
A
too.
belch would work too.
This episode, you get a negative Beethoven. Next episode, I get to re-roll one of George's rolls, and I will do so in a hostile fashion. No, just kidding. I'm not going to do that.
I accept.
Okay.
All right.
Having made it inside the gates of Ulm, where are you guys headed?
We're in the city. An ogre's dead. Edwin's got this. Let's hit the inn.
Yeah.
Booze. Real booze. In ages.
Pretty dry at
Time
this
for a
point.
bar fight. I mean, it's time to go
Okay.
to the inn and get some provisions.
Okay, stop. Okay.
Why don't we go to the inn, get some provisions?
Provisioning.
I'm going to go find a place to stash our stuff until we have an opportunity to talk to Ulm. Or, well, not Ulm, to talk to Groden about this.
Why?
I thought we were going to skip Groden.
Yeah, isn't
That's
Groden
fine. We
the...
can skip Groden. Okay. Until we have a chance to take this to market and show it to somebody.
Yeah,
Okay.
and loudly show it. I mean, not that people are going to care, but we're trying to get some attention for dwarves. Maybe.
Turn.
Are dwarves literate? Are people literate, John?
Uh,
Handbills saying we're looking
generally not, but if you put up handbills, like some people will be able to read
People
it.
will read it.
Okay. John, one of the bardic abilities I have, because of the type of bard I am, is researcher, which says that I have a knowledge-based tie-in to some network of information. And I don't know if the rules even require me to specify what it is, but because I wrote into my background that I was in training to be a mage, for my background it was magic stuff.
Okay.
Is there a school of wizardry I have any connection with, any knowledge of, anything here in town?
Yeah, give me a d20. Yeah, you have some friends in the student body of the Technical Underling Wizarding Academy. It's not the premier place. The premier candidates go off to the real capital where they do the real work. But there is what is more or less a frontier school in this place, and you know some people who know some people.
Okay.
Not the dean, but some Scud students,
Then, all
actual
right.
wizards.
While they're getting settled at the end, is there anything in this town along the lines of like a trade bank or something where I could get the equivalent of a vault, a small vault? I don't mean like a full vault, but a small vault.
Yes, there are enough banking and trade facilities that vaults,
How much to get a vault?
trustworthy vaults, are available to rent.
How much to get a vault for? A couple days?
You for just a couple days, you think you can get a vault for a gold piece a day.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and knock off 3 gold pieces and get one for 3 days, and I'm going to stash the iron and the dragon corpse in there.
Okay, no
Okay.
problem there. You
And-
can find a trustworthy bank.
I
without
don't know if
trouble.
you want me to role play this since it'd be party splitting, or just roll, but I would like to go to the school and start basically circulating feelers that I have access to the harvested body of a white or
Small
frost
dragon.
a frost dragon hatchling, perhaps a youth, and all I have its bones, its blood, its wings, its teeth, its claws. and start trying to figure out what I can get for this. And just to be clear, whatever money you tell me I sell this for, I'm not going to use to go straight to the DMG and start buying magical items. I'm going to put this back into the fund for the tribe. So I'm trying to.
Okay.
So
Yeah, you can seed that discussion. You don't get an offer right now, but I'm not going to make you roll for it. You can go put the word out in the wizard community and start the hubbub.
okay,
No
because I
problem.
know it's got to be worth something.
Oh yeah, it is.
Spell components.
Exactly, spell components, artifact components, magic. I mean, it's got to be worth something to somebody.
Yep.
And so I'm going to see what I can do, or even see if I can find somebody and do like a sale on what do you call it, a
Consignment.
consignment sale of basically, look, I'll sell you the body, you sell the parts, you know, there you go, something like that.
Maybe you could go to a taxidermist and get it stuffed, and then sell it to a guild, and they could put it like in their foyer or something.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna get a whole lot more for its parts.
Well, I mean, to stuff it, you don't need the parts. You just need the outer.
That's true. Well, actually, if you get somebody to work its scales into a coat, it should at least, I would imagine, give you cold resistance.
Well, you strip the corpse back in the cave, like you kind of harvested it for its material, so it's a little late to taxidermy it, but you've got all the ingredients,
Yeah, I have an IKEA dragon,
the
basically.
good stuff. Yes, you
Yeah.
do. It has a
So,
weird Swedish name. It's like Dagron with a little umlaut, but you know what it is.
Drew Flagoon. And all right, so I'm trying to find somebody. And once again, for game balance purposes, I'm not going to keep this gold or whatever. I'm going to put
No,
it
and I'm
to
I'm
the
not gonna. It's not worth 100,000 GP, but it might be worth
right.
100.
But I'm not. I'm yeah, right. You get the idea. Carry
I
on.
get the idea. All right. Having reached the bustling dwarf sector of Ulm, and having now pushed midnight for our eastern friends, I will go through the sort of last call for actions before wrapping up session 3. So, George, are you going to do anything?
No. I have
Uh,
nothing to do with these people.
Miranda, are you going to do anything?
Nah.
Okay. Dan, are you going to do anything?
Try to sell the dragon. I would say try and start looking for buyers for the iron, but I'm going to guess that's the plot point for next time.
I mean, it's just going to take a while.
If
It's
it's boring administrativia, then just go ahead and check that off as something I'm doing.
okay. Well, we'll say that you're getting a head start on that on night 1 here in town. And Chad, anything you're doing?
To the bar!
To the bar. All right, you guys reach the floor of the tavern. The
Albin changes from
Fire
nothing
is
Not
to
going.
yet reach the floor of the tavern. That is going to be a
You're
long.
standing on it. You're not yet laying on it.
I'll
There-
get there.
The barman is trying to unload a bunch of brandy he's been having a problem selling, and you guys pick up a bottle. It tastes pretty darn good, and for 3 coppers, it's almost free. Rounds begin, rounds continue, and you guys head off tonight happily tipsy. And that is the end of game 3.
Yay!
All right.
Good game. Very
Thanks.
enjoyable.
Yeah, I enjoyed playing this. Highly improvisational. You guys drove the boat, I think, for real for the first time. Like this was pretty much 100% you guys deciding what to do with your new territory, and that was what I was shooting for with the concept here.
Nice.
All right. You guys get 500 for being good, and another 250 on top of that for destroying your cell phones. So you should all be level 3.
So that takes up to 1500 XP, or me up to. Okay.
So it was how much XP?
750.
750 total. I'll have to run through the. I'll use the character creation tool thingy to up my level.
Roll yon hit points in chat. See vous, please. I think that's the only roll thing we have to do.
I'm going with the default level up.
What's that? The median or whatever?
It's median +1, so instead of D8, I just get 5 straight.
Cool.
What's my hit dice? Is it D8 for everybody?
You get a 10 because you're a non-barbarian melee class, Chad. George gets an 8. How average?
Oh, good.
That's-
Dun, dun, dun.
And George, that is why I just take the other the.
Okay. Dan, I give you Beethoven for the session.
Okay.
I will allow a preemptive Beethoven strike. You will lose its use in game 4, but you can use it on that hit point roll.
Do it.
No,
You don't have to.
I'm still just gonna take the straight 5. It's.
No. I mean George's.
George's ball.
Oh, on George's.
You can undo his 1, yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant on mine. Then yes, that's a kind of a yeah. I will do it.
Woo! Average.
All right, very good, very good.
Okay, that's better than a 1. So
You,
I thought
you
meant
saved
on
the
mine,
dragon
like,
bones
no.
from total roleplay wastage, and you saved the 1 roll. You're a very noble friend, Dan. But there is no Beethoven for next round. But Dan still. No, George, I'm going to make you do the summary because Dan just blew his Beethoven on your crappy HP roll. This is now your problem.
Okay.
Earn this. Earn it.
Saving Private Ryan.
Yes.
In the first episode of Ironblood, whole song "Moving Out."
What?
You know, the first dwarf episode. Like you're making a playlist for all the dwarf episodes.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I guess it. Let's just make them all Billy Joel, except for Careless Whisper.
Sergeant of the
Well,
It could be moving out,
Beethoven
and we
fit.
didn't start the fire.
Oh
And
yes.
Beethoven.
At night, Brand becomes a bartender.
Looks for Mr. Cacciatore. Apparently, we were quite a chorus on the final night of Gen Con after the Grappa,
God.
or so I hear.
That's awesome. I get there.
Digestives were served.
I can make people cry now.
You can always make people cry. It's just a matter of your level of commitment to social embarrassment.
I get something called cutting words, where whenever a creature within 60 feet of me attempts to make an attack roll, ability check, or damage roll, I can use an interrupt action to just on the spot. And I have a limited number of these, but I can force him to lose D6 from it. Like if some guy's arguing with me, I can just like fuck up his skill.
That's cool.
So do I get like skill points or attribute points as I level up? Or
At 4th level.
Nope.
okay.
Leveling in this game is very uneventful.
You
I-
do, but it's not.
I actually get like I'm a champion fighter now, and I have
Oh, that is good.
Yeah, Chad, at
levels at 19
third
and
level,
20.
you get your martial archetype, which is your champion. And as a champion, you now score a critical hit at a 19 or a 20. That's your 3rd level
Yeah,
ability. So you have improved critical hit. Next level, you get an attribute point.
Oh, okay.
This level, you get the 19 to 20 crit.
I'm taking Hunter archetype. Now, if something's taken any damage at all, when I hit it with a weapon, it takes an extra D8.
Very nice.
Okay, cool. John, is there anything else you wanted to cover? Us staring at books and such is probably not terribly exciting.
No, yeah, we can whack the stream here. Thank you once again for joining us, fans of the Ironblood Dwarves. We will be back provisionally 2 weeks from today. The Gen Con / total solar eclipse has passed. That was a calamity of double proportions for my capacity to run a game and most people in Missouri's willingness to play in one. But as of now, we are back on the every other Monday until either legislative session starts again in January, and I'm gone forever for 5 months, or we all die, whichever comes first.
Hopefully not that. So
Well, in character. Or out of character.
I thought. Yeah.
Rocks fall.
So, alrighty.
I've done it before. You know I will.
I know. You guys have a good night.
See ya.
Later.